time zone. It's me, DjDoubleT, here and existing with a new game. It's Friday, and we're playing a game called Dreambound. It's supposed to be like a BL mystery novel, and yeah, I've been like, really excited to play this game for a while. And now that I finally have like a Friday to dive into it, that's what we're gonna do today. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Honestly, so far I've seen like little bits of art, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Look at the lovely reflection. Although it's really giving like an, well, it's just giving the building. I want to know what's out there. But yeah, let's dive in. Begin. Sections of Dreambound can be played as either entirely text or point and click with puzzles. Which would you like to play? Ooh. Okay. I want some puzzles. Text only, point and click puzzles. Let's go puzzles. Dreambound was designed to be played with point and click puzzles, and the escape sections play out best in that format. However, if you don't enjoy puzzles or your computer is struggling, let's just switch into text only. Well, point and click puzzle, it's fine. My computer will. It's fine. It was 2:37 p.m. on a Friday. Well, if I had started this 5 hours earlier, maybe. On this specific day, at this specific time, a funeral is being held. He was so young. How unfortunate. There would be many more Fridays, many more days when the clock would tick over 2:37 p.m. Time would go on, whether one person was here or not. So much talent wasted. What did it mean to be alive? And what did it mean to be dead? His family must have been devastated. What did it mean to exist? And when would the existential dread finally cease? A boy with brown hair sat in the corner alone. To him, that coffin looked much too small. Much too small to hold a soul so large. Much too small to contain an entire existence with all of its history. Noah. Tomorrow, everyone else will go on living. Tomorrow, everyone else will forget. And if not tomorrow, then the next day. One day, everyone forgets. The brown-haired boy held tight to his chest. He would not forget. But even he could not convince himself of these words. How easy it was to spout platitudes while someone lay dead 10 feet away. I'm sorry. It was 2:37 p.m. on a Friday. And on this Friday, the funeral was being held for 2.5 studios. And we got this whole like anime opener. Okay, but like a good classic anime opener is just honestly that's what I think I like about some of these BLs so far is that they have these openers. But it's really giving me like Jujutsu Kaisen Tokyo Ghoul like beginning. I'm so down for it. Noah. August. Okay. I wish I could see them a bit longer. Ivan? Oh. Okay. I rock with that. At least the cool like look. Like it's so colorful but so lifeless at the same time. Kane? Okay. Crow. I almost called him Crayon. You know, at first the sound was a little too loud, now it's too quiet. I might have to change that. Prologue. The me that died all those years ago. I like how they had it as preferences in the beginning page, and now there's settings. I think I'm fine with like almost max volume. Yeah. Actually, one dot down. Sorry, this is like, I should have tested it a bit more. I turned it down a little too quiet, and then now it's like a little just too loud for my taste. I'm very picky when it comes to sound for some reason. Anyways, cool. Oh no, not quit. Return. Alone, confined within his prison, the man sits back. The man sits, his back slouched and his arm raised. In his hand, a paintbrush. A weapon in his eyes, perhaps a tool. From it, life should flourish into every corner of a world, part imaginary, part very much real. Waves crash onto the white shores. The night sky reflects back on itself, a sea of stars amidst its swirling currents. All is calm, yet not. But, as it were, that world didn't exist, couldn't exist, it would never exist. It could not be created by this hand. The man holds his paintbrush up to the empty canvas, blank like many of the rest. Is it day? Or is it night? He does not know. Light doesn't belong in a place like this after all. It has never belonged. He closes his eyes, waiting for it to appear. Something. Anything. A vision, a masterpiece, a muse, an apparition that would inspire his creativity. Anything at all. But nothing comes to him. Nothing comes without fail, without exception. Every stroke he laid against that impossibly bright, white canvas was like a stain on his soul, a dirty mark on what should have been pristine. By his hand, all he could create was loneliness. Nothing belongs. Nothing would ever belong again, for he was broken. Time moves like this, unfailingly, and eternity passes, what feels like it was. As the clock slowly ticks away. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Never ending. But what is time to someone with no time left to give? His hand shakes. He cannot force it to paint, yet he cannot set his hand down either. Behind his closed eyes, he wards off the tiredness he can feel at the edge of his consciousness. Perhaps a dream would help him to paint. Perhaps if he simply allowed himself to be carried away in that star-filled ocean, inspiration would strike. Or perhaps it would take him away from this world and finally bring him peace. Yet, he opened his eyes, denying the very thought. Anything but that. Anything but a dream. Was it fear? Hate? Disgust? No, it was more. Much more. This was no base emotion. This was something far more deep, far more sinister. The minds of men were warped beyond recognition. Their being had become wholly evil. During the day, they wore masks to hide their intentions, but during the night, inside their dreams, the masks would fall. What was once pure and bright was now corrupted beyond repair. Noah, you need to stop this at once. You can't live off this. Whatever these scribbles are meant to be. Imagine what people would say about me, about us. Why can't you be more like your brother? It's about time you grew up. You're not a kid anymore. Go throw all of your stupid little books out already and give this up. No. No. This is all I have. All I have left. This is all his fault. Look what he's done to our son. Please, I need something. Just one thing. Let me have just one. Letter laid at rest on the table unopened. He lacked the courage to open it, too scared to read the words that would shape his life. His fingers trembling came ever closer until the feel of the textured envelope brushed against his fingertips. It felt like life. It felt like the future. It felt like the one thing that could pull him out of the deep pit he found himself in, slowly being buried alive. He opened the envelope in one fell swoop. Words spread out across the page, perfectly ordered. He suddenly felt as if he lost the ability to read. In that dim light, he tried anyway. Dear Noah, it is with great pleasure that I inform you that you have been selected to receive the Copper Cove University of Art Excellence Scholarship. Each year, only one student is chosen statewide to receive the scholarship through a process of portfolio presentations, interviews, and recommendations from prior instructors. The Copper Cove Academy of Art Excellence Scholarship provides full tuition for your years at our school. Please note that students with this scholarship must be enrolled full-time and maintain a 3.5 grade point average or GPA to continue to receive their scholarship. Once again, I congratulate you on your selection for this great honor, and we look forward to seeing you on campus. In front of his eyes, the letter turned to dust, floating away on the wind into that imaginary world. Memories of the past aimed towards him like daggers. They pierced his flesh, but that didn't matter anymore. He was used to it. In fact, he sometimes wondered if he enjoyed it now. The pain spread throughout his body, but at least he could finally feel something. But also, one other said it. Preference. Nope. Gosh, this is already hitting on that hard note. I can't believe it. All right, let me just readjust this real quick. All right. The pain spread throughout his body, but at least he could finally feel something. His paintbrush, still tinged with color, stayed motionless against the canvas, resisting the urge to yawn. He rubbed at his eyes with his bare hand. A ringing sounded through the darkness, echoing through the soulless house. No one was around or able to pick it up. No one except... Go away! It kept ringing and ringing, then ringing some more. Then it stopped, until it began again. Go away! Noah clutched at his head, the ache only made worse by the constant sound that pierced his ears. He wanted to ignore it. More than anything, he didn't want to answer the phone. But the caller was stubborn, and Noah easily irritated. He stood from his stool, dropping the paintbrush to the ground. It clacked against the wooden floor, paint flying across the planks. Just more added to the already growing collection. At this point, more paint was splattered over his house than there was on any canvas. Slowly, each step deliberate, he walked towards his phone. The model's old, the same one he'd had since he was a teenager. He looked at the numbers, or the number on the illuminated screen, but he didn't recognize it. Still, the ringing continued. I should just turn this stupid fucking thing off. He stared at the screen, light burning his eyes, and for some reason, he picked it up. Noah, is that you? What do you want? How did you get this number? It's me, your dad. Can we talk? I answered the phone, didn't I? What do you want? Please. It's been so long. What do you want? Your mother has passed away. Please, please, come to the funeral at least. Noah removed the phone from his ear and slid his finger along the screen and went silent. The other person never to know what happened. Without a second thought, he switched the phone off and dropped it into the rubbish. So, she's dead. His voice lacked any emotion. Whether this fact made him happy or sad, no one would be able to tell. He walked back towards his easel. On it, a still blank canvas waiting to be brought to life. He threw it to the ground in a heap with the rest of the abandoned masterpieces before sending his foot crashing down towards them, breaking them in half. One after another, he smashed them into pieces soundlessly. Not a word or a cry escaped his lips, only a silent fury. Not at his mother's passing, only aimed towards himself. Finished, but not feeling any more fulfilled, he dropped to the ground and curled into a ball. His eyelids felt heavier and heavier, until finally he found sleep. But even sleep wasn't so restful. This is where I get trapped in a dream. Noah woke to the sound of a key turning in a door, then the same door opening slowly. Footsteps started off slow before they sped up, coming directly towards him. But he didn't flinch or turn to look at who it was. If someone wants to kill me, then let them. If they want to steal any of this shit, go for it. I don't care anymore. I don't care. So just let me die. Noah. Noah, what are you doing on the ground? Are you okay? Noah should have realized who it was, yet he somehow felt disappointed. Would have been better if it was someone here to kill me already. Go away. I'm resting. You have a perfectly good bedroom, one room over. Come on, let me help you to bed. I don't want to. Just leave already. Let me at least get you some water. Come on. Kane extended his hand to Noah, who stared back at it blankly. Kane was the same as he'd always been. Kind, dependable, hardworking, charismatic, funny, popular. Everything he wasn't. With a sigh, he took Kane's hand and let himself be guided towards a seat. He fished out a bottle of water from his bag, obviously bought in preparation for the visit. Must be nice, living the kind of life where you buy bottled water. Noah took a sip, feeling the coolness make his throat hurt just a little bit less. Must have been a while since I last drank anything. I didn't notice. Noah. I gave you that spare key for emergencies, you know? I'd say this counts as an emergency, wouldn't you? Noah, this has to stop. You need to get some help. Get outside. I don't know. Just... things need to change. You can't keep living like this. Noah angrily pulled away from Kane, a frown settling on his brow. No. Nothing has to change. I'm fine the way I am. I didn't ask for your help, so stop butting into my life. You didn't need to. Look, this isn't like you. You didn't used to be like this, you know? He wouldn't want this for you either. You know that. Shut up. Don't bring him up. He was my best friend too. I'm allowed to talk about him. And I'm certain this isn't what he wants you to do. A silence spread out between them as both looked away from each other, searching for what to say. Between them was a gap that didn't used to be there. Once upon a time. How's your painting going? What does it look like to you? Noah shrugged, but continued when Kane stayed silent. I should just give up. There's no point anymore. I can't paint. I'm just wasting my time. Of course you can. I've seen you paint before. I know what you're capable of. Then why? Look around you. Why can't I do it anymore? It's too late. It's too late. Everything feels dry, dirty. There's nothing worth capturing left. I'm chasing a light that doesn't exist. I'm chasing after nothing. But, look, you have plenty of nice paintings around. Noah looked between them. They morphed in his mind, becoming too ugly to even glance at. They're nothing. Less than nothing. This is what the end feels like, I think. Wouldn't it be nice if the world just ended tomorrow? You know, maybe going out and experiencing some new things would help you to spark your passion. Meeting someone new, meeting new people would be good for you. There's no point. I'll die surrounded by my blank canvases, and then finally I'll have my only masterpiece. Noah. As if unsure about what to say, Kane found the remote and turned on this old small TV. News presenter, dressed impeccably, read out the news with so little emotion, you would wonder if she really cared about the words leaving her mouth. Next up, we have some breaking news from directly on the scene. A number of bodies have been found with strange flower-like markings, first believed to be tattoos. Analysts say that no ink, pigment, or burn marks are featured on the victims, which has ground the investigations to a halt until they can find out what these markings mean. Further proof that true art is found in death. With a disgusted sound from deep in Kane's throat, he switched the TV off as if deciding that silence would be better. I'll ask you one more time, okay? Please, let me help you. I don't want your help. I just want you to leave me alone and stop coming here. We're friends. Noah, I'm not going anywhere. I don't want any friends. I don't deserve any. I don't want the only person left that matters to me to betray me too. Better you just leave now. I'm not going anywhere. I promise. I told you to leave, not stay. As if on cue, Kane stood, producing another water bottle from his leather bag. He stepped closer and closer until he stood in front of a potted plant, the only bit of life left in the entire house. He watered it slowly, deep in thought. Make sure you look after this, alright? I can't stop by every day. I am. Good. Finished. Kane walked towards the door and opened it wide. Noah shielded his eyes from the sun. I want to see you go back to your old self, alright? I want to help you. He doesn't exist. He shut the door with a soft thud. Once again, he was alone. How I prefer to be. Noah stood from his stool and wobbled as the room spun around him. His head still ached, and he could feel a deep hunger in the pit of his stomach. When was the last time I ate? Uneasy on his feet, he slowly found his way into the kitchen. Noah's kitchen was as bare as ever. He hadn't never used it really. Most of the time, he'd order something to be delivered, or better yet, just keep eating. His money was limited, and he'd always put his paint supplies over anything else. Noah reached up to open a cupboard, knowing full well it was bare, when he smelled something. Food. His eyes found a container left on his table with a small note. He picked it up. It read, "Enjoy. I'll bring some groceries around soon, Kane." He wondered for a moment whether he should accept it or not, but eventually his stomach won out against his stubbornness, and he sat down at his dining table, alone, to eat it. While he sat, he thought. He really hated it when he thought. How easily he can just come and go when I'm stuck in here, like a corpse in a coffin, buried alive. But what of it? I don't care anymore. That sunlight that I haven't seen for years, it suits him, not me. My friends, my family, all fake. Twisted, corrupted. Just like me. Nothing is pure. Nothing. Except... He brought the fork to his lips, slowly nibbling at the home-cooked food Kame had brought. Still a good cook. He really does have everything going for him these days. Suddenly he froze, a terror crawling over him. His head throbbed and his stomach lurched. Then he fell. His fork dropped to the table, abandoned. Oh? Oh. The world spun around him until it disappeared, spinning, spinning, filling his body with a dread. Oh, so familiar. He squeezed his eyes shut, begging silently for this to stop. He didn't want to be here. He wanted to be home. But when he peeked out of his tightly shut eyes, his home was long gone. His surroundings were still blurred around him, and his body felt as if it were being ripped in all directions, as if at any moment he would be torn into shreds. But he wasn't. And he knew this feeling well. With a thump that didn't reflect how long he'd been falling, he hit the ground. When he opened his eyes again, he saw a darkness around him, all around him. Not a human darkness, but a darkness that was something more. Something sinister, something threatening. A place no one belonged. Noah quickly got to his feet and checked himself over. No injuries. None of that. No pain, no gain. Everything's fine, right? At least that's what we say. His eyes darted around the bleak, dark landscape. Nothing stood out to him. No one awaited him. No one. Nothing. This isn't what it's usually like. What's going on? I want to go home. Please, I just want to go home. But he knew full well what was required of him. His footsteps were slow and careful before speeding up in desperation, searching for the person who would free him from his nightmare. He walked and walked, then walked some more until his feet ached with deep blisters. Yet he still walked because the alternative wasn't something he wanted to face. Behind him, nothing. In front of him, nothing. If he was walking in circles, he wouldn't have known. His feet ground to a halt when he finally saw something. Or someone. A man curled up into a ball, sitting in the distance. How are you, Nari? By the way. Sorry, I've been really deep into the story so far. It's only been like half an hour, but I'm getting into it all over again with some visual novel stuff. But I guess with this little pause, I can actually talk about other things real quick too, if you like. Okay, I think... Okay, that one's done. I need to do this part. Well, what's wrong with the next day? Darkness surrounded him, threatening to take over his very existence, his very essence. The man looked up. His eyes were hollow, filled with sadness. Their eyes locked. My father? Why would I be brought here? How? His mind raced as he tried to come up with any reason, any excuse. The man called out to him, but his words were lost in the shadows, never to be heard. Noah was still frozen, couldn't decide whether he should approach him or run away. Are you still wallowing about sorrow about things from earlier, or something new? His heart yelled at him to run, to put as much distance between them as possible, but his mind saw his only ticket out of here. Before he could make a decision, a dark mist started to roll in from a place unseen. Oh, I mean, take your time with it, Nari. It's kinda... I mean, you may know the answer, you may not, but We can only take life one step at a time. It spiraled and spiraled, twisting and turning until someone stepped out of it. Another person surrounded by shadows. His steps were slow but not careful. Deliberate, perhaps. Perhaps. Persnickety, persnaps. With purpose. With purpose. He approached the curled up man with heavy steps. Suddenly the man's voice traveled to Noah. Lots of traveling today, huh? Aren't we? Noah! Noah! I want my son! Please! Give me back my son! Give me my son back! The shadowy man raised his arm. In his hand what looked like a gun. Bang. There was no hesitation, no pause. Just a single shot through the head. The curled up man dropped to the ground, his body evaporating into the mist. The world shook around them. Mountains of shadows came crashing down. The whole world threatened to cease existence in a mere moment. Noah's eyes darted around, searching for a place to escape to, when he finally looked back towards the man with the gun. And as the world came crashing down around him, he swore that the shadowy figure was looking right back at him too. An empty, eternal darkness. Why is darkness always seen as cold anyway? If anything, Noah felt like he was surrounded by an intense heat. It was too much, too overwhelming. He thought that at any second he'd burst into flames. But nothing happened to him, even if he wished for it. Something soft wrapped around his shoulders, holding him tight. He should have been scared, but instead the pressure felt welcoming. When he opened his eyes again, he was sitting. Noah sat in front of this easel, his hand poised over the canvas. His hands were covered in a splattering of paint. It cracked over his skin already dry. The darkness that surrounded him suddenly felt light after the place he'd escaped. Noah paused in surprise, his eyes glued to his canvas. On it, a painting of pure darkness. A reflection of a dream. How? How could this be? I wasn't here? At first, he wondered how, then why, before his mind settled on an answer. That didn't answer anything. It's perfect. At some point, the brush had dropped from his hand and landed on the floorboards, just another splatter amongst a sea of color. He couldn't look away. He wouldn't. Not when this was everything he'd been waiting for. This is it! Jumping to his feet, he lifted the painting from its place and carefully put it to the side. Who would have thought that which I detest would create my finest piece yet? And all it took was a single dream. He sat back on his stool and slumped forward deep in thought. So, okay, so from what I understand is that story-wise so far, we are in a time where Noah and his love interest is dead. And lots of sorrow, but there's also mysterious deaths that are happening currently around. And I feel like they're tied to the dream realm. My dad, let me stay up all night playing. You've got to get it. As if my parents would let me skip out on studying to play games. You won the parent lottery. You can just stay you're studying and stay over at my place then. Oh man, really? I'm down for that. Kane leant over Noah's desk, talking and laughing as he usually did. Noah sat lazily, kicking his feet against the legs of the desk, not worried about whether it would annoy anyone else in the room. It was an early morning, a few months into the semester. Noah had settled into his routine by now, walking to school with Kane, chatting until the bell rang, and wasting the day away until he could go home. Of course, there was more to it than that. Studying, tutoring, pressure from his parents, but all in all, nothing else ever shook him up. He was comfortable but bored. Hey, I heard something interesting. What now? Apparently, someone's moving into our class. What? At this time of year? What? At this time of year? No way. They'd never catch up with the workload. No, for real. My dad said so, and your dad's on the board of directors, yeah. Yeah, you say it every time. Do you think it'll be a cute girl? Too cute for you, that's for sure. Ouch, my heart. It's fine. You're the only one I need. Clean... Words. Kane fluttered his eyelashes, putting on a voice so clean that Noah physically recoiled. Ew. Hopefully it's a guy so I can make a new best friend. I think something's wrong with mine. You can try. Who else would be able to put up with you? Step, step, step. The door opened as someone walked carefully to the front of the room and behind the desk. Their teacher, Mr. Floyd, stood in front of the classroom before clapping his hands. Alright, take your seats. I have some exciting news today. The class chattered endlessly as the students did as they were told. An excited buzz spread throughout the room. As some of you may have heard, we have a new student joining our class today. He's just moved here from interstate, so make sure to help him if he gets lost with anything. So, a boy. Guess Kane was wrong about that one. Noah leant his elbows against the desk, resting his head in his hands. For some reason, he didn't find himself all that interested. Anyway, I'll let him introduce himself, so you can come in now. A pause. No one opened the door. For a few moments anyway, slowly the door opened wide and someone stepped in. Noah sat up in his desk, in his seat, his eyes locked on the boy that entered. Blonde hair and deep green eyes. He didn't hesitate any longer. He stepped in the front of the class with the brightest smile Noah had ever seen. I feel like I know these intros by heart now. It's nice to meet you all. My name's August, and I've just moved here with my dad. Actually, we move around every couple of months, so I've been to around 7 schools already. A few students gasped in surprise, hanging on to every word he said. Rather than sounding like a well-rehearsed speech, his words flowed naturally and calmly without a single nerve to be heard. It certainly did seem like he was used to making such introductions. Still, I hope we'll be staying here a while longer. At least enough time to get to know you all. August is a pretty name. I thought it would be a girl with a name like that. What does your dad do? He's a photographer. Oop, wrong accent. He's a photographer. So he's always traveling and moving. I had the option of staying behind with my grandparents, but I decided to go with him. Whoa. So awesome. I wish I could travel that much. What else to say about me? I like sunsets and long walks on the beach. The room exploded in laughter, but Noah couldn't even manage a giggle. Something about the boy captivated him, caught his gaze, and held it there. He was afraid if he even moved a muscle, the boy would disappear, and so he stared silently. Alright, enough of the dating app intro. Make sure you all make August welcome and show him around later, okay? Oh, take a seat. There's a spot free over there, next to Noah. Noah waved meekly, and August did the same and returned before taking a seat. Whatever was said for the rest of the class, Noah didn't know. He held his pencil between his fingers, his workbook abandoned. His elbows rested against the desk as he snuck glances towards August's profile. Every now and then, he would shift making Noah jump and look away. Huh. His profile is almost pretty. He continued staring at the boy. Well, not even almost pretty. It is pretty. With that thought, and August's eyes finally met Noah's. Noah froze unsure if he should quickly look away and pretend he hadn't been staring, or if he should just smile and act natural. Eventually, August decided for him. He smiled brightly, tilting his head at the same time. Noah awkwardly smiled back before looking away, his heart racing. You're Noah, right? It's nice to meet you. I hope we can be friends. Only a few moments later, a folded piece of paper slid onto his desk. Noah looked at it in surprise, then back to August, who simply raised a finger to his lips in a shh motion. Just. He put a nose in a smiley face. Oh, you know, that's actually something interesting. I don't put a nose in like a smiley face that often, or just in general. I was just thinking about it. I was like, yeah, I don't do noses anymore. Do you guys do, like, when you guys draw a smiley face, do you guys do noses or no? No nose. Gotta be like Voldemort? Yeah, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. August, looks like we'll be stuck together this year. Just this year, guys. Only this year. No other year. Just this year. No nose, yeah. He wrote his return message carefully on the other side, unsure of what exactly to say. Why did I do it too? Ugh, so lame. When Mr. Floyd turned his head back. When Mr. Floyd turned his back, Noah quickly scrunched up the paper and tossed it towards August, who meticulously flattened out the screwed up ball and read the message. Done reading, August propped his elbow up on the desk and rested his chin in his hand, copying Noah's posture and smiled towards him. Noah's mind went blank, and for the rest of the lesson passed in a blur. Until the bell for lunch suddenly rang. Only when Kane was standing over his desk, waving a hand in front of his face, did he snap out of it. Hello? Earth to Noah, you there? Right. Yeah. Is it time for break already? Yeah. And Mr. Floyd called on you twice, and you didn't say a word. Are you feeling alright? Yeah, I'm fine. Just feeling a little out of it. What do you think of the new guy? What? Noah's cheeks felt hot at the sudden question. Why? I don't know. Just making conversation. It seems nice. Has a nice smile, too. Right. Well, I guess we should go greet him too. Wanna go now for now? No, I mean, I'm sure he has a bunch of other people hanging around him right now. Wouldn't want to crowd him. The rest of the classroom was empty. Everyone else had already cleared out, either to eat or chat with friends. August had obviously been pulled along to have a tour with their other classmates. Yeah, seems like he'll be a little hard to get a hold of later then. Wanna go get something to eat? No, I brought food. So, I might just eat here. Whoa, you sharing? Don't be stupid. Your lunches are way better than mine. What can I say? I'm something of a chef de cuisine. Noah laughed in his response before pulling out his lunchbox. In it, a sandwich and a few other snacks. Compared to luxurious meals Kane had cooked for himself, it was nothing. Actually, you can just give me some of yours. You know I'm always happy to share it with you. Kane gave Noah a warm smile. He might play around, but no one knew that Kane would probably do anything for him. The door suddenly rattled and opened. Noah put his sandwich down and turned just in time to see someone walk towards him. The boy from earlier. August. He sat at his desk quietly, minding his own business. Kane looked towards him, then back to Noah, motioning for him to speak up. You okay? Oh, just a little tired. I thought I could probably hide in here for a little bit. M- m- my name's Noah, which I guess you kind of already knew, but... And this is Kane. You want to eat with us? Huh? Is it really okay? Of course. The more the merrier. August turned his chair around with the same bright smile. You get dragged around everywhere by the girls. I think they just showed me every inch of the school, which I'm happy about. Don't get me wrong, just a little exhausted. I liked your introduction, by the way. Oh, what a stupid thing to say. God, I'm so lame. Ah, really? He laughed a little before looking down. I was a little nervous, honestly. It's hard coming in front of new people and talking about yourself. Not really that interesting, so I always have to build myself up to do that. You certainly broke the ice. You're gonna fit in well around here. Fit in well around here, I can tell. Thank you. I really hope so. His voice was gentle and calming. He had an air around him of brightness. I'm gonna go buy a drink. Do you want anything? Just the usual. Do you want me to come? Nah, you can wait. You can wait here. August? Oh, then can I have just the usual too? Noah could feel that gentle smile directed at him all throughout his body. Got it. Kane left the room and it was suddenly silent. Noah tapped his fingers, uncharacteristically, wondering what he should say. What he could say to fill the silence between them. Psst. What's the usual, by the way? Just cola. Phew. I want to sound cool, but if it was coffee, I would have made an embarrassment of myself. Yeah. Noah's fingers tapped against the book that sat in front of him as he searched for something to talk about. School. Too boring. Where he lived before? I bet everyone's already asked him that already. What's that? August pointed towards the book under Noah's fingers. His eyes filled with wonder. Oh, that? It's just something stupid. Don't worry. Now I'm really interested. Can I see? You really want to see it? If it's okay with you. It's a little embarrassing. That's okay. I think everyone's gets embarrassed about the things they make. Sometimes because it means so much to you. Feeling shy about his work, he handed the sketchpad over to him. Inside was a plethora of drawings, sketches, and scribbles of anything and everything that had caught Noah's attention at one point or another. For once, he was glad he hadn't drawn anything that today. Lest August find a drawing of himself. You drew all these? Yeah, sorry. I said it was stupid. These are amazing! They're so beautiful! No. They're just... You have so much talent. His eyes were filled with so much wonder that Noah couldn't help but respond in earnest. I actually want to become an artist. I know it sounds dumb, but... Amazing. You're really amazing. You'll be a fantastic artist, I can tell. Have you ever tried painting? Oh, I haven't. I can hide these sketchbooks at home, but I think my family might notice if I brought in an easel. Why would that matter? If they don't really like me doing art. Sorry, I'm enjoying the music, even if it's a little silly. Well, I think you would be really good at painting. Your drawings are so beautiful. I'm really bad at painting though, and drawing and pretty much anything else art related. Maybe we could try together? Noah blurted out the first thing that came into his head before instantly regretting it. However, he responded in earnest. That sounds really fun. I'll take you up on that offer. Noah found himself struggling to reply to that sincerity. Unused to anyone being interested? The door opened again, and Kane stepped in. His eyes wandered from August's warm smile to the tinge of red on Noah's cheeks before he frowned. Pushing it to the side, he smiled again and set the drinks down on Noah's desk. Got them. Enjoy. Oh, thank you. I'll pay for the next time, I promise. It's no problem. Don't worry. We can just force Noah to pay anyway. Hey. So, you just moved here, right? Whereabouts is your house? Not far from here. I think it's Fielding Avenue? I'm still wrapping my head around the street names. Both Noah and Kane looked towards each other, blinking in surprise. Number 42? How'd you know? That's the place next door to me. The people living there did move out a few weeks ago. I had no clue. I guess we're neighbors, both at school and home then. Maybe we could walk home together? I mean, if we're not busy. Yeah, I'd like that. I mean, it's probably the safer option too. I might get lost otherwise. Do you want to dance? Me when I'm like responding. Okay. Do you want to dance? My dad's always told me that if you drop someone in the middle of the woods with a broken compass and half a map, they still have a better time finding their way out of there than I would. Bell rang. Actually, that raises a good question. I mean, for those of you guys who are actually around right now, I am curious, do you guys have a good sense of direction? Because when it comes to me, my friend group, I want to say that I am the designated, I'm the designated, what's the word? I'm the designated, guide, I guess? Like, if without a GPS, most of my friends would, not survive. Then there's me, I'm like, okay, here's this, that way. And I just find that really funny. Or not really funny, but I just find it interesting that most people just don't have a sense of direction. Anyways, the bell rang again. Seemingly the end of lunch, August shuffled back to his desk while Kane gathered his things. Oh! Next to him, August dug through his pile of books before frowning. I think I left my math textbook at home. Mr. Floyd laughed, waving his hand in a carefree manner. You can share with Noah for today. Try to remember for next time. Yes, sir. August carefully dragged his table and chair closer to Noah's until the two were sitting shoulder to shoulder. Alright, everyone, open your textbooks to page... Oh god, why did I leave it here last time? Go on, say it, Mr. Floyd. Open your textbooks to page 69 and we'll resume our previous lesson on trigonometry. Some kids in the class snickered and giggled. Usually Noah would at least glance toward Kane with a smirk, but this time he was completely frozen in panic. In place. Now, Nampy, not just another BL, but my first murder mystery visual novel one. Because all the other ones were different, you know? This one has actual puzzles in it. And I'm kind of excited for that. So it's a little bit different from the rest that I've done so far. August leaned his head close to Noah's, his blonde hair hanging down in front of his glasses. He carefully pushed the loose strands behind his ear as he read the textbook carefully. No, not just another one. But another one that's different. Mr. Floyd's voice faded into the distance as Noah's concentration on triangles wavered. He only snapped back to reality when August mumbled something under his breath. Math might be the death of me. You don't know how to do this? Don't laugh, but I usually only manage to pass my math tests. I promise I'm better at my other subjects. Do you want to work together on these then? Noah tapped the problems in the textbook with the end of his pencil. Really? Thanks, Noah. Noah. Somehow the name sounded just right rolling off his tongue. Noah swallowed hard, then finally pulled his eyes away from the blonde boy. I need to concentrate. So, if we have the adjacent and the hypotenuse... August stared down at his workbook, where he copied down the problems and had begun working on them. Then, Noah reached over, wanting to write something beside August's neat handwriting. Noah barely stopped himself from pulling back as their hands brushed against each other. Oh, that makes much more sense than the way I was taught. Thank you. Noah, I think I get it now. No problem. Noah pulled his hand back, awkwardly fidgeting with his pencil. The rest of the day was much like the beginning, a complete and utter blur. For some reason, Noah couldn't get that smile out of his head. Yet at the same time, he thought of it. The thought of it made him seem nervous. What's wrong with me, meow? Not meow. What's wrong with me now? No. What's wrong with me now? As the clock ticked down second by second until the bell would ring to signal they could go home, butterflies in Noah's stomach took flight. He tapped his pencil against his desk nervously, with a frown. This is stupid. It's not like me to be nervous about anything. He's not the guy. Anyway, it's not like I'm walking home with a girl beside him. August didn't take any note of Noah's actions. Unlike him, August had actually been working through the tasks. Oh? Is there something you want to say, or are you just tapping your pencil repeatedly for fun, Noah? Mr. Floyd's voice was lighthearted, and Noah knew instantly he was just joking around, yet his face still went a deep shade of red. No, nothing, Mr. Floyd. When the bell finally sounded for class to end, August was instantly surrounded by people. He struggled between them to move his desk back to where it came from. Kane found his way back over to Noah's desk with a laugh, glancing at the huge crowd. Yeah, you know, there's not like girls around here, Nappy. What am I looking for? I am looking for... No. I have not. I've seen like the figures of like a female, but that's it. Kane found his way back over to Noah's desk with a laugh, glancing at the huge crowd. He kinda looked like he'd be shy and quiet, but he seems fine even when he's surrounded by people, huh? In the center of that gathering, August smiled and chatted away, as if it were only natural. Yeah. So, why don't we walk around in the city? I can show you around. Oh, actually, I need to go home and unpack. Next time? Then how about we walk home together? Thank you, but I'm actually walking back home with Noah. Turns out we're neighbors. Oh, I'm so jealous. You don't want to spend too much time around him anyway. You're way too nice for him. He's kind of a jerk. Noah froze at the comment. It's true that he wasn't particularly close to his other classmates, but he'd had no reason to become friends with them at all. He'd Kane. Thanks for the compliment, but I think he's probably nicer than I am. Also, I don't think it's nice to talk about people behind their backs. Anyway, I need to go. Thank you for showing me around earlier. August waved them off before joining Kane by Noah's desk. Shall we leave then? Do you live nearby as well? Just across the road, actually. Amazing. This is like fate meeting you two. Yeah, right. Fate. Noah stood from his seat and gathered his things, dropping his art book into his backpack with everything tucked neatly away they left school. The air outside was still warm, and the sun beat down on their faces. The smell of late spring gently soared with the wind. Each step felt like it took great effort. As Noah gripped onto his chest, he wondered if he was starting to get sick. Needs something to break the ice. Kane doesn't look like he's gonna say anything. Think, brain. Think. So, what kind of things are you into? Noah stood between Kane and August, but all of his attention was directed at the newcomer. I don't really think I'm into anything very interesting. Your hobby is way cooler. We've moved around so much, I never got into any clubs or anything, but I do like reading and taking photos. That's cool. I like reading too. Since when? Since always, Kane. I can't remember the last time I saw you pick a book. I do have a life outside of you when you see me, you know. What? Really? He feigned shock, but Noah just rolled his eyes and looked back towards August, who was laughing at their antics. You two are really good friends, aren't friends, huh? I'm probably the only person who could put up with him. I'd say it's the other way around. Maybe we should have walked home without you. We'd all be walking the same way anyway. That'd be a little awkward. Whatever. I do like reading, so that's cool. And you like taking photos too? Yeah, my dad's been teaching me a little. Cool. I didn't realize you were into photography too, Noah. Will you just shut up already? To be honest, I'm nowhere near as good as my dad is. Anyway, it's a little embarrassing only talking about me. What about you, Kane? Me? His only interests are good food and his own looks. Hey, tell me I'm wrong. I like cooking, and just because I use a moisturizer doesn't make me obsessed with myself. Wait, Max Acheron? How so, anime god? Like maxed out her level and her traits? Are you saying like you E6'd her? Cause so when you say maxed out, I think, how did you get E6? Did you go crazy? Did you go ham? I don't know what you're talking about, Nampy. Okay, just a level. Okay. Yeah, recently I think I maxed out when it comes to Honkai. Well, not recently, but here's I have maxed out. Welt, Aventurine, Himiko, Clara, Dr. Ratio, I think maybe Gallagher, Boot Hill, MC. Ooh, okay. Who uses moisturizer? Don't worry, I do too. I am sad, anime god, though, that there is no storyline for us to do currently, so I have to wait like 16 days. But I'm also refraining from doing polls. Well, sort of refraining from doing polls. To like max out Jiao. Well, I guess it's not that bad. Maybe I should try it. You already have such clear skin. You're really lucky. No. I think yours is a lot nicer. Oh. Well, we can show August our shortcut. Oh. You can wait for his rerun? Kane smiled, interrupting the conversation. Oh, yeah, good idea. The shortcut? It's easy to show you, but if you take a left up ahead, the shortcut through the mountain that leads to behind Noah's house and yours now. I see. I mean, there's other people besides Chow Cho, as Nihility. Welt's a good substitute too. Or Pella. Really? That's amazing! It's not that much shorter, but it's kind of pretty, I guess. Since when did you find nature pretty? Since none of your business. With a laugh, they made a turn into the greenery and left behind the sounds of civilization. So they basically gave us the dark, bleak present of the story, and right now we're going through like the peaceful sub storyline, or peaceful like beginning to get like more of their history. That means it's like we're gonna get messed up later. I don't know how it's gonna get messed up, but we're gonna get messed up later somehow. I'm not ready for it. As the sound of traffic dimmed, so too did the sound of the wilderness begin to settle around the trio. August looked around in wonder with wide eyes. It's beautiful. This really is a beautiful town. I'm sure you've lived in much cooler places than out here. Nothing ever happens, nothing ever changes. Well, I've lived in a lot of places, but nothing like this. I'm so jealous you get to see this every day. Every single day. Well, we can just walk this way together again if you want. Not much choice if we're all walking the same way. Ken got into the conversation, taking a few steps to walk ahead of the other two. The ground was uneven, the stones that once made up a path broken and reclaimed by nature. Noah and Kane had traversed this terrain all of their lives. All of their lives, everybody. Everybody's lives. August, on the other hand, watched the ground carefully, cautious for anything he could trip on. The ground's a little uneven, so be careful. Oops, wrong voice. The ground's a little uneven, so be careful. If you need a hand. Ah! Before Noah could even finish the sentence, August stumbled over a tree root that had forced itself out of the ground, going forward straight towards the edge. With lightning speed, Noah grabbed August's hand and quickly pulled him back onto the path. Anari, how did you forget you were here? You okay? Did you fall asleep? Or did you get busy? Are you okay? Wow, that was close. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I should have just watched where I was going. Thank you, Noah. What would I have done without you? It's no big deal. Just be more careful. I will. Try at least. Noah looked down to where his hand was wrapped around August. It felt warm. Warm and comforting. He blinked a few times, staring at the place they connected. Oh, that's... sorry. I got a little distracted. Noah quickly ripped his hand away and rubbed the back of his neck. Kane turned away from the scene and continued onwards. August, ever with a smile on his face, raced to catch up. Quick! Noah! Before we get left behind! We're nearly there. See that river over there? Whoa! A river as well? Oh, I see. You gonna be okay, Anari? Photosynthesis? Are you becoming plant? Once you reach the river, you know you're nearly home. See over there, through the trees? This really was a shortcut. In the summer, you can swim there too. If I'm here in the summer, then we should go together. Finally, they found themselves in front of their houses. Kane waved the other two off and left quietly, which no one found unlike him. I wanted to say something, but he couldn't think of what. Well, see you tomorrow. Do you want to walk to school together tomorrow? Oh, yeah, that would be cool. Aga smiled at him again, soft and sweet. I'm glad. See you tomorrow, Noah. Noah found himself locked in place as he watched August walk back towards his house. It was only a few minutes later he managed to snap out of it and enter his home. Welcome home, dear. Did you have a good day at school? Ooh. Okay. What kind of voice should I give the mom? What voice should mom have? Like, should she be sounding old? Welcome home, dear. Did you have a good day at school? Yeah, it was alright. Let me take a quick look at your notes. Just want to make sure you're doing your work. I did it. You don't need to check them. I left them school anyway. Then bring them home tomorrow. Do you understand? Why? Do what your mother tells you to do. His father grunted from the sofa, still dressed in a suit from a hard day's work. No one knew he couldn't argue with either of them. Why a dandelion? Do you want to be the dandelion that's yellow? Or do you want to be the dandelion that grows old and then blown away to scatter into the wind? They both rose up, as if an uncomfortable subject was mentioned. Yes, unfortunately. Yes, unfortunately. There's a new guy in my class, actually. We walked home together. Noah, you shouldn't be spending time with someone like that. What? Why? Just listen to your mother. But why? He seems nice. My dear, you only have to look at them to realize, well, they don't exactly fit in around you, do they? How to say it? There's no woman in their house. I worry they're a little too feminine leaning themselves, if the father is anything to go by. It's not a good idea for you to be associated with someone like that. I don't know what you're trying to say. The boy's father turned up on our doorstep yesterday. Don't know how someone like him managed to afford a place here, but they obviously don't belong. Photography. He should be getting a real job. That's right. They don't look like they have the money to be here, so we sent them off. We sent him off. I don't want to be embarrassed in front of the neighbors. Came by to say hi, and you threw him out? You threw him out. You don't need to put it like that, dear. If anything, if the son's anything like the father, then you're to steer clear of them. Something not quite right. Wouldn't be surprised if either one of them batted for the wrong team. You understand? Noah frowned at the words. But? No buts. Upset, Noah stormed out of the room. God, they make me so angry. Noah dropped his backpack to the floor and pulled out his sketchpad. Filled with anger, he lazily scrawled with lines over a blank page. Why do they have to care so much about how they're seen? Maybe I should go apologize to them. For some reason, one comment stuck in his head. They think August would like guys? I mean, he doesn't really seem like he would. They didn't even meet him. But it wouldn't matter if they did. What if he does? His mind kept turning in circles, spinning and spinning, while his pencil dragged harshly along the paper until finally the lead snapped. The me that died all those years ago. Chapter 1, A Kingdom Thinly Veiled. With gold? Oh. So wait, was that just chapter 1? Hold up. History? Okay, this... Oh, this is the whole history log. Oh. Well. It was an inescapable fact. He was unlovable, detestable, undesirable. Excuse me, what are these allegations? Nothing he did could help him escape that. No matter where he went, those eyes filled with hate would follow him. Their gaze would burn him alive where he stood. Their words would pierce him like blades stabbing down to his very core. His essence would darken and crumble away into nothingness. You deserved it, they would say. If you'd listened to us, this wouldn't have happened, they would scream. Why couldn't you be normal? A cry would send down. Even here, far beyond where those words could find him, he would still feel them in his chest, in his mind, in his heart. You will always be alone. Always. No one else could love you. No one else could put up with you. So just curl up into a ball and die already. Just die. Noah slowly opened his eyes. He still sat in front of his easel, on it a new canvas still blank. His eyes darted back towards the painting that had appeared the night before. A nightmare, disgusting, warped, a reflection of a father who would never love his son, who could never love his son. It was beautiful. It was everything he'd ever wished for. He stood from his place, stretching out his sore shoulders. His bones creaked and ached from years of being bent over his work. Absentmindedly, he picked up the remote and turned on the TV. Or you could stay in there and become more unhinged and get more photosynthesis, right? Background noise. White noise to fill the void where he had been left empty. But for some reason, he found his eyes trained on the screen. We now have permission to share the imagery of the strange markings that have been appearing on the bodies of the deceased. On the screen, a man laid with his eyes closed, never to reopen. Vines wrapped around his arms, trailing up to his throat, and finally growing onto his face. They centered on a flower in the middle of the man's forehead. Beauty and death. This man was found in his home late last night. Previously, his wife was found in the same condition. Thank you, Nappy, for some water. My voice is kind of like cutting in and out of it. I'm like, water. Oh yeah, if I'm a raisin, you're a grape. The small kind, not the round, juicy ones. Alrighty, a sweater. A little bit chilled. It's getting cold. I must require a sweater. If you could tell by the response, Nappy, Inari is clearly German. That would be the answer, right? Nappy's gonna say, no, boys have cooties. No. Police are still investigating whether foul play was involved. The camera zoomed out to show the rest of the man's face. Noah froze. His eyes traveled to his painting and then back to the screen. It was his father. There was no doubt about it. Without second thought, Noah jumped to his feet and approached the TV. He held onto it tight, searching for some kind of answer. Was he sad his father was gone? No. What? But what I saw last night... So far, police have not shared any leads. We'll keep you updated on as the case unfolds. Is it possible? Did he die because of what happened yesterday? But that wasn't really him, just a shadow in a dream. These words whirled around in his head, threatening to consume him. Questions surfaced one after another, but he couldn't think of a single answer. He felt as if he was going crazy. I need to talk to someone. Anyone. But who would understand? Who would care? He had nobody after all. Kane. Noah grimaced at the thought. All he did to push him away. All he did to make him leave. And now he needed him. What did I do with my phone? He searched high and low before remembering he'd put it in the bin. With a sigh, he reached out in and managed to find it. He switched it on. 11 missed calls from his father. He deleted the records and instead tried to call Kane. Your service has been disconnected. Please visit us at 546-945-1251. Fuck. Noah hung up quickly before slamming his phone down. Bills. It was always bills. Money he'd saved was reaching its end. Fuck. Kane, why aren't you here when I need you? He's probably at work. Of course he is. Noah's eyes glanced towards his front door. For a moment, he wondered. Wondered what life would be like if he had a job. A family that cared. Colleagues, friends, a life, perhaps a lover, a pet. Before he realized it, his hand was on the doorknob. His palms were sweaty and his breath shaky. I'm not scared. It's not scary. I just hate it. At first, he wasn't scared. He withdrew because he hated it. Hated other people. Hated their fake happiness. Hated that they had futures that were taken from him. He knew they were all liars, cheats, backstabbers. But now it had been too long. How many years since he last walked in the sunlight? Too many. Still, he turned that doorknob and stepped out into the bright light. Mom spaghetti, mom spaghetti. A mirage of happiness spread before Noah. Sunlight fell upon his face. In the distance, a dark storm cloud rolled out. He raised a hand to cover his eyes and used the light. Thought it would feel good, the sun on his face after so long. But it didn't. It felt wasted on him. His eyes glued to the ground, Noah walked down the sidewalk, careful not to meet anyone's gaze. He wandered and wandered, every step further from his home, his comfort making his heart beat even faster. I think I know where Kane works. I should know the way. His uneasy steps continued. A group of teenagers came barreling down the path. He held his breath as they went past, waiting for them to say something to him. Only when they had long passed could he breathe again. He walked, and then walked some more, and just for good measure, walked further. At this point, he was sure he'd been walking in circles. Every street, every shop, every house looked like the last. He thought he knew where Kane worked, but he didn't. As it turned out, he knew very little about Kane anymore. Overwhelmed with the sights and sounds, he crouched down to the ground, covering his face with his arms. At that exact moment, the heavens opened. Noah was torn between staying where he was and running to find cover, but in the end, his legs couldn't move. Wouldn't move. Couldn't. They made the decision for him. I'm so stupid. Fuck. Why did I leave? If I'd just waited, it would have come over eventually. It's all just a stupid coincidence. My parents' death, the markings on my dad's forehead, it means nothing. Kane would just laugh at me if he could see me now. Businessmen walked by him, chatting and laughing. Noah couldn't help but look away, embarrassed by himself. Look at him. Do you think he's homeless? That druggie better stay away! They laughed at him. Thought he was used to those words, but they still hurt. Noah looked up just in time to lock eyes with the one person he was hoping to see. Ah! Ah! Surprise Pikachu face. You guys go on ahead. Kane's gonna go buy some drugs. Good luck, man. Oh. That's such a dick move. Kane ignored the others and jogged over to where Noah was, still crouched on the pavement. He quickly tipped his umbrella to cover Noah. Noah, what are you doing out here? What's wrong? Kane, I was looking for you. You should have just called. It's just lucky I happened to be walking past. My phone's dead. Didn't pay the bill. Right. Sorry. I should have guessed. My parents are dead. What? Kane's face said all the words he couldn't think to say. Noah, I'm so sorry. I know you didn't have the best relationship, but how do you feel about them being dead? Nothing. Even if you hate them, I'm sure you're not feeling nothing right now. I can't even say I hate them. It's been too long. It just burnt out. What do you mean, Inari? Are you talking about like all the extra characters, or are you talking about all like the main characters? I don't have the energy to hate them anymore. Noah. With a frown, Kane helped Noah to his feet, brushing off his clothes. Okay, what happens to the umbrella? Y'all gonna let us get wet? Cool. Let me walk you home. We can talk on the way, okay? Noah nodded, unsure where to start. Like everybody character-wise? Or what do you mean? Oh, you mean everything? I guess, because there are certain tropes and characters that people really like. And those are more, like... Do they, Abby? Noah nodded, unsure where to start. It's not just about them being dead, it's how they died. It might sound crazy, but... The world collapsed around them. And as they disappeared, someone else stepped into the place they'd just been. Alright. Chromatic boyo. I don't know. I don't look into like the genre from the game where it comes from. Falling. Falling. A familiar feeling that could be felt in the pit of Noah's stomach. My eyes, Nappy. My eyes. That feeling he hated. Just when he thought he'd be stuck in that limbo forever, he suddenly stopped. Fields rolled on for miles and miles. A landscape that, while entirely natural, looked anything but. Fair enough. I mean, it's art style that usually works. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with it as long as it like functions properly. I mean, there are certain IO styles that people like and certain ones that people don't really care for. Noah stood up from the grass. Beside him, Kane did the same. What the? Where are we? Kane's eyes were wide as he searched around the landscape for anything he could recognize, of course. He couldn't find anything because this wasn't a place he'd ever been before. It was far removed from the reality Kane knew. This is... Before Noah could begin to explain, his arms were suddenly ripped from his side and shoved roughly behind his back. 2 clicks sounded, and they were locked behind him. Trespassers? This far into the kingdom? We best throw them straight into jail. If the king finds out, he'll be furious. Jail? King? I think you misunderstand, we're just... Silence! Silence! A guard pushed him forward, causing Kane to stumble. Noah noticed his arms were also handcuffed behind his back. We're not from here. This is a mistake. Shut up, vermin. Noah, start explaining. We're inside someone's dream. Have you eaten something funny? Look, I know it sounds insane. I know I sound insane. But just look around you. Do you really think I'm lying? And do you think I really have the energy to lie right now? You brought us here? No, I didn't. And that's what I'm so confused about. I don't want to be here. I wouldn't choose to come here. But lately I've been dragged into dreams repeatedly without choice. Hi, Melon. That's good, you're hydrated. What are you drinking? Are you drinking water? Or are you drinking other stuff? It never used to happen like this. Kane's face had long since drained of color. The guards continued to march forward, pushing them towards the castle. They ignored the words of the men dressed in strange clothes, decided they were obviously crazy. Then, by it never used to happen like this, you mean? Ever since we were in high school, I've been able to do it, to enter dreams. How? Why? I don't know. I have no clue. Why didn't you tell me? Why do I have to tell you everything? Let's see. No, I mean, if there's anybody who can explain to Melon what's happened so far in the beginning, you guys are welcome to. Basically, the very beginning, we get like the dreary future, like the current present. Someone has passed away, people are dying. Your main character sort of is like depressed, lost his skill in art, and then we get like the cutscene, like not the cutscene, but like the opening song, and then we later on travel to the past where we get to meet Noah, August, and Kane, and then we're pushed towards back to the present right now, where, yeah, I guess we're going into dreams, or at least Noah can go through dreams ever since high school, apparently. Kane looked away, hurt by his words. Also, Inari's lying. No boy kissing has happened. How do we leave? You can leave once the dreamer is happy for you to leave. Then what do we do? What if it happens if they're not happy? Then they wake up and we, I don't know, die, I guess? Which wouldn't be the worst thing to happen. Noah, I'm not going to die in a place like this. Then we better work out whose dream this is. Well, maybe if I could. Maybe I could if my arms weren't handcuffed. Hey, let us go. They marched Kane and Noah into the castle as the two struggled against their captors. The corridors twisted and turned, filled with darkness and stale air. Their footsteps echoed through the empty space as they walked between sets of bars. Noah glanced from cell to cell. In some, the people moved, skulking about in the shadows, tracking their movements. In others, Noah would have been surprised if the inmates weren't already long dead. Skin hung from their bodies, much too scrawny to support their lives any longer. Oops. They laid in their cells unmoving. Noah, this doesn't feel like a dream. This feels real. Because we're actually here. Our bodies aren't in the real world anymore. Oh, Melon, by the way, if you're procrastinating on work, we also have an exclamation mark work command now, so you can use that to see if you are procrastinating or not. I don't think the bot lies. I think it's just how you guys feel about each other today. The guards finally stopped their march, pulling on Kane and Noah's handcuffs. The metal bit into their wrists, leaving him deep red marks that ached. Go ahead and rot in here. The handcuffs fell from their wrists with a click, and their backs were shoved hard with a blunt object, the hilt of a sword, Noah guessed. They stumbled forward, landing in a cell. The bars were swiftly slammed behind them, and the door locked with a key. Hey, we get a trial or something? Don't ignore me. Hey, come back here. Crap. Behind them, they hung the keys from a hook just out of reach of the cell, as if to tease them with freedom. Shit. Noah, this isn't good. Hi, Force Steel. You don't say. You don't say. Noah cast his eyes around the cell until they came into contact with something. No, not something. Someone. Night, Nari. A man sat leaning against the stone wall, chains keeping him from moving. Every cell in Noah's body froze. Not him. Why does it have to be him? Kane's eyes followed Noah's before they settled on the man. Is that Mr. Floyd? Sure looks like it. So, is it his dream? Probably. Do you want me to? I'll handle it. Wait, before either of us do any handling, can we talk for a minute? Sure, but because we have the time to spare. Just a minute, please. Noah crossed his arms, waiting for the questions to start. Why were we pulled in here out of nowhere? I have no clue. Like I said, it's never happened like this before. Every other time was by choice. Which makes yesterday even stranger. What about yesterday? Noah weighed it up in his mind, wondering whether he should tell Kane or not. Eventually decided to tell him the truth. I stopped coming into dreams years ago, and yesterday, just like this, I was pulled into one. It was my father's dream, I think. And I saw him get shot. Then this morning, he turned up dead. What? His eyes went wide. Are they connected? I don't know. Maybe? Those markings that have been appearing, people die in dreams. That's what I came to talk to you about. Anyway, let's just work on getting out of here, okay? Kane nodded in response. Noah slowly approached the man, one step at a time. Eventually, he looked up from the ground and stared hard at Noah. Ah, the hard stares, guys. Hard stares. Noah? Wait, Noah? Noah flinched. Of all the people he'd wished to see this man the least. Mr. Floyd, we need to get you out of here. Out? Out? No, can't leave. Won't leave. Too scared. There's... Fine. What are you scared of? The shadowy figure! He has a gun! Alarm bells rung in Noah's mind. He looked back towards Kane, who was already frowning. No one is going to hurt you. He shook as if he was going to burst into tears at any moment. Noah sighed. So, this is a visual novel so far. I don't think there are choices, but there are puzzles in this one that haven't showed up yet, but I feel like it's coming soon. Looks like I'll have to do this the hard way. Then let me help you. You'll help me? After everything? Yes. Just stay there while I work out how to get you unbolted. Then we'll leave together. Wait, Noah, I want to Look. Noah turned his back, uninterested in where the conversation was going. I don't have any use for your apologies. If it were up to me, I would leave you here to rot. But Kane doesn't deserve to share that fate. Get him unbolted and get the door unlocked. This should be interesting. What do we do? We'll get him out of here. Then we'll be able to leave. You make that sound way too easy. Oh, it won't be. We're in a hurry too. If he wakes up. Right. Let's look around. Alright. Escape. Alright. Okay, so this is my inventory. Okay, that's kind of cool. How far can I shift this room? Outside the bars, various voices could be heard. Some were barely more than whispers, fleeting words never to be discovered. Others were screams and shouts, the sound of those never to be released, begging for freedom. Even if these people aren't real, this isn't right. Unless you feel like staying here with them, we need to get out of here. It's all well and good to say, but there's a thick set of bars stopping us from leaving. Oi! Be quiet in there. Guard walked past, bashing the hilt of his sword against the metal bars. Knowing Kane jumped back in surprise. Seeing someone with a sword, it wasn't on my bingo card for the day. Just outside the bars, the keys hung on the hook by a rope, out of reach. The rope trailed down to the group, begging to be pulled on. The keys are hanging right there, if we could just reach them. From this far away? Maybe there's something in here we could use to grab it. I suppose it'll be more difficult than that, though. Hey, what's that? Kane pointed towards the ground outside the bars, where a piece of paper sat. That wasn't there before. Quickly, grab it. Oh. Looking back and forth quickly for any more guards, Noah peered at the paper that had been dropped outside the cell. Stretching his arm between the metal bars, Noah reached out far enough to touch it with his fingertips. Kane watched over his shoulder, inspecting the newly acquired item. It is William 7-1, Edward 4-8, Henry, and Ralph. I almost read this Baldy. I was like, that's not Baldy, it's Ralph. Just Ralph. Wait, it's a schedule? Looks like it. Oh. Are there any gaps in the schedule? No. But there are less guards at specific times. 7 till 1, 4 till 8, 2 till 6, 1 till 7. But who knows what time it is now anyway? Maybe it means something. Let's just hope the guards won't be breaking breathing down our necks while we're trying to escape. Beyond the barrier, keeping the three inside the cell from freedom, a hollow noise sounded metallic in nature. A shiver ran down Noah's back as it echoed through the prison, the source unknown. Yeah, for now, let's just take another look around. There's a box with buttons, a bed, a bedside table, there's food. Look at the ball and chains. Two metal balls hung from the ceiling motionlessly without even a breeze to see them sway. In a far off cell, someone dragged their life-deprived body over the hard stone ground, slowed by the ball and chains, dropped to their ankles. They collapsed, the last light in their eyes finally disappearing. Maybe this is where I belong. Okay, I've looked at the bars. Hold up. Wall engravings. Noah knelt down to the ground by the wall, peering at something that had been stretched into the stone. There's something here. Let me take a look. No, I haven't, and I've thought about it, but I'm not interested in that game, I think. Kneeling down by Noah's side, he glanced at the numbers marked on the wall. What exactly is that supposed to mean? Good question. Let's keep this in mind. Okay, let's just check out the Dewey's bucket real quick. There really is no way to get around looking at it, is there? Ugh. Woolly's nose, Noah peered over the edge of the bucket. A murky liquid sat still inside. There's absolutely no way I'm putting my hand in there. Well, I just not. How old are you? Last time I checked, 24. Me being hilarious aside, do you really think there would be something hidden in there? I wouldn't put it past him. Why don't we leave this as a last resort? Yeah, probably a good idea. Unless you'd rather stick your hand in there? No, let's just leave this for now. Okay, good to know. Don't want to stick my hand in there. Let me check out the bed. With an unsteady heart, Noah looked towards the large bed that sat in the center of the room. Pretty much what I expected of a medieval prison bed to look like. Guess I'll check it just in case. Not too excited about digging through someone's used bedding, though. Want me to do it? Noah blinked in surprise for a moment before nodding. It was Kane he was with, after all. He had always been the kind of person who would happily take the jobs no one else wanted to do. Doesn't seem much here. In the pillow? He fell through the pillowcase, his eyes going wide. Nice thinking. He pulled out something small and metallic. A screwdriver. How did he get this in here anyway? Probably watched one too many TV shows and thinks everyone has a screwdriver hidden in their cell. Well, that works for me. We jumped up somewhere we can use this thing too. Kane quickly handed the screwdriver over to Noah, his hand lingering on the other man's for just a moment before he pulled back. Okay. I want to look at this box later. Stanley, proudly next to the worn-down bed, was a wooden bedside table. On top, a small candle bolted to the surface. Noah approached it carefully before reaching down to touch the surface. Clean. What's in the drawer? Let's find out, shall we? Grabbing onto the handle, Noah pulled gently, but refused to budge. I think it's locked. Wait, I think it's locked. What kind of prison lets their prisoners have a locked drawer? That's all a good question, you know? All a good question. This one, apparently. I suppose anything is fair game in a dream. Let's find something to lock it. Noah turned to the chained-up man, still stuck to the wall, but he refused to look back at him. Hey, what's in here? Just leave him. He obviously doesn't want to talk to us. I wonder if I could just force the drawer open. Here, let me have a try. Quinn quickly took the screwdriver and went to work, but no matter how much he tried, it refused to budge. Jesus, what is this drawer made of? I suppose he dreamed a specific way to open it. Nothing else will work. Fine, let's keep looking. What if I did this to here? Okay, so no. Nope. I wonder if I could take down these weights. What for? If all else fails, we could just break down the wall. If all else fails, we can just break down the wall. Hi, Vilma. Let's leave that as a last resort. I don't want you to hurt yourself. So that's it. Alright, time to box buttons. What's this? What's that on the front? So many questions, so shady. No one turned the hexagon-shaped knobs, but nothing seemed to happen. It looks like it's missing a button. Probably no point messing with it until we can fix it. With the screwdriver in one hand and his will to live very quickly diminishing, Noah turned towards the bucket. Guess there's no choice. What's the plan here? Unscrew it? And let the contents spill all over the floor? No. Just gonna check if there's actually anything in there. The screwdriver dipped into the murky liquid deeper and deeper until it hit something with a soft twang. And there's something in here. Oh? But I'm still not sticking my bare hand in that thing. I don't know what's in there. I think I can take a guess. Please don't. I doubt he would have hit anything in the bed frame. There's no reason to take it apart. Well, if we get stuck, we could always try it. Let's keep it as a last resort. I really don't want to touch that thing. The sound of gentle dripping came from somewhere down the corridor, from far off corner of the prison. Whether it was water or something else, no one would ever know. Noah stared down at the screwdriver in his hand, feeling the weight in his palm. What are you thinking? You're still good at sport? Noah, the last time I did any sport was years ago. Right. You want to throw the screwdriver and hope you knock down the keys? Honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. You might need the screwdriver somewhere else. If it comes down to it, I'll give it a shot, okay? So it's not the bed, not the ball and chains. Can I use it on the wall engraving? Noah knelt down by the engravings again, his thumb pressed over the indents. You would think a teacher would know not to vandalize things. He probably sat here and chipped away at the wall with a screwdriver slowly over time. Or was it already here when the dream started? Who knows? It's been a long time since I last saw him. Yeah, me too. I wonder if he still teaches. I already quit after, Just say it. After he was fired because of me. It wasn't your fault. He started it with what he did. He got what he deserved. Do you ever wish something worse happened to him? Always. Noah, you never told me what he said to your parents. It doesn't matter anymore. Rotating the box, Noah carefully checked for anything suspicious. Nothing. You could at least imagine that these puzzles a little more easily cheated. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, so this doesn't work. What now? Nothing. It's just a hunch, but I feel like these numbers are related to the ones on the schedule. You think? You think? How? I haven't worked out that part yet. Can I, like, look at the schedule? No? So, Noah, what? Kane balled up the piece of paper in his hand, habit of his when he became anxious about something. I was just thinking, you know. No, I don't know. Okay, so for a brief rundown, what's happening here is that in the story, the character Noah can actually go into people's dreams, but we are forced to be in this dream, and we don't know what happens if we can't make sure the person's happy or set free, because we might die. And so we got sucked into a dream where we're in this medieval prison, and now we're trying to figure out how to get out of this whole situation, pretty much. It's like the long story short of it all. I was just thinking that it's nice to see you a little more active. What's that supposed to mean? I just mean that this is the first time you've left your house in how long? And that it's none of your business. I'm just happy, alright? I've wanted this for you for so long. For me to be stuck in a prison, shouting over a dirty bucket? Well, not exactly, still a step in the right direction. Yeah, whatever. I didn't have a choice this time, but I won't be doing this again. Why not? I don't want to move on. No, I'm not saying you have to completely move on completely or forget about him, but I said I don't want to. Right. Okay, so these are the bars. There's a button somewhere and keys. Okay, but there's something in this bucket, so how do I get this bucket? Do I need this ball and chain? So screaming, that. But I need to find the button for this box. And I'm surprised the screwdriver isn't the thing we need for this part. Nope. Alright, then we're gonna continue with the schedule, walk around with it, be like, hey, is that helpful? Stare at the note for any kind of clues. Notice abruptly grabbed by the wrist. What? What? You nearly walked head first into those things. Be careful. Thanks. Right, thanks. Noah held onto the guard's schedule tightly, feeling of the dry old paper formed against his palm as he stared down. But yet again, nothing more than a falsehood of fake. The feeling wasn't real, yet it was. None of it's real. Let's wonder which world is more fake in the end. Kane stared down at the piece of paper in his hand, his eyes following the letters closely. It's so strange, isn't it? What is? These names, these people, not even real, but they still exist here. Can't wrap my head around it. Get used to it, but sometimes you and I can't tell the difference between what's real and fake. Hey, Noah? Yeah? Have you ever... Maybe it doesn't matter. Just put it out already. Have you ever seen anyone you know down here? Not for a long time. Sorry. Okay, so that... Okay, we're gonna try out the bedside table. Unless there's like some kind of gap I'm supposed to stab with this screwdriver. Like, there are only specific options I can click on. So what could it be? The dream really does suck. Of all the ones to be forced into. But you said they were all bad. They are, but this one's particularly bad. From outside the cell was dark and musty. The smell of moss, long forgotten secrets drifted through the air. There's something else, something more sinister, but Noah decided against taking notice of it. He looked down the paper in his hand, skeptical. No use in throwing it back out there, I suppose. Can I actually look at the piece of paper? Oh. Okay, schedule. A schedule that was dropped outside the prison bars. It reads William 7 to 1. Edward 4 to 8. Henry 26, Ralph 17. Okay, schedule. Can I just use this to take this out? Because I don't want to... And I can't use it for that table. I've touched that. I know it's in the bucket. Can we just go for it? They really don't like this bucket. Okay, what am I missing? I got the screwdriver. I've interacted with everything. There's nothing else in the bed. And they said there's a button somewhere. Wouldn't the button be in this thing? Oh, ew. Oh, okay. I want to try the screwdriver one more time. Okay, so that's already happened. I can't force this, so how do I open this without... Is there anything on here that's useful? And this box of... Oh, wow. Okay. So there's... They said there was a button missing, right? Alright, Nappy. Thank you for joining around. Well, how do I get to this thing? And I can't use the paper for it. Because it gets balled into there. So I think I need to figure out this puzzle, but... Okay. Do I have enough to figure out this puzzle? Maybe just forgot them. Oh my god. Oh, no. I just want to look at the... Okay. Did the game like bug out because I can't click on this? I mean, I can save it here. Oh, there it is. 7 to 1. Wouldn't that just be 6? 6, 4, 4, 6? But why 6, 4, 4, 6 though? There's a lantern there. I'm sorry I'm like taking like a hot minute for this. I'm just like, what do I need to do? Hmm. Okay, so not that. Do these have anything to do with each other? Well, let me try to read that one more time. Oh, makes sense. Okay, so first one's 6. 5? Hmm. I'm just like trying to figure out this puzzle. I'm sucking at this. You know what? I think it's hint time. Oops. You can turn each hexagon left or right. Click the hint button again for another hint. Oh. You can find the directions you're meant to turn the hexagons in the drawer. Well, the thing is, I can't open that drawer. Like, the screwdriver doesn't actually help me open the drawer. Like, there's a lock on it. So how would I... No, we're not trying to throw the bars. I'm about to like bash this bucket, if I could. It's okay, it's a dream. You can't smell dream bodily waste. Hmm. So far the hints have not helped me. Tell me. Tell me, what am I supposed to do? Chad, any ideas how to get to this drawer? I feel like I can't get into it as much as I would like to. Like, I think I have gone around this. Wait a second. Never mind. Aha! So you actually have to really look around. Okay, that's gonna bug me. Alright, the room was cold, chilling the inhabitants down to their bones. The cool stone on the walls reminded them that they weren't welcome. Noah reached up and ran his fingers over them, freezing to the touch. The moisture clung to his skin. It feels just as lifelike as I remember. You said you used to do this a lot, didn't you? Are they always like this? Like what? So hostile? I thought I saw the people around me at their worst. I thought I knew to some extent how unwanted I was. As it turned out, that was only a fraction of how they really felt. The truths people keep themselves, the secrets they hold, the way people truly think about you. You'll find them all here. So yes, they're all like this in a way. Noah, not everyone's lives like that. Everyone's left is like that. A stone shifted between Noah's palm as he ran his hand across the dark gray wall. The stone is loose. Can you pull it out? No, it's still too heavy. There must be something around we could use to break it. Let's keep looking. Alright, and Noah? I would never do anything to hurt you, you know that? Yeah, maybe. Okay, screwdriver to this one loose brick. Gripping the screwdriver in his hand, Noah turned towards the loose stone brick. You're really going to go at it with that little screwdriver? You have any better idea? Well, no, but fine, you might as well give it a go. He held a small tool and stabbed at the stone as if it were flesh. Unfortunately, it still wasn't enough. Damn it. Damn it. Don't worry about it. I'm sure there's something else in here we can use. What? No? So that's how it is. What is? The ball and chains hanging from the ceiling. They line up perfectly with that loose brick. Nice job, I hadn't noticed. Let's give it a go. With some effort, Noah pulled the heavy ball back as far as he could and let it go. It sailed through the air before crashing into the brick and smashing it to pieces. Good job. Thanks. Initially excited, Noah frowned to himself before he composed his face. I mean, it's no big deal. We just gotta get out of here. You still did a good job. There's nothing wrong with being happy about that. This isn't the place to be happy. There's nothing wrong with happiness. Behind the crumbled remains of the loose brick, the thick metal grate held on tight by 4 screws. Aha! Can you see what's behind it? Noah peered in with no luck. Nope, we'll have to get this grate off. And finally, the screwdriver is useful. With precision, Noah raised the screwdriver to the 4 screws in the corners of the grate, quickly removing it from the wall. I knew that screwdriver would come in useful eventually. What's this behind the gate? Noah and Kane approached the hole in the wall to find a small square box. Tenderly, Noah reached out and picked it up. He turned it around in his grasp. There didn't seem to be anything noteworthy on its surface except for 4 marked buttons on the front. What is it supposed to be? Good question. He pressed a few of the buttons, but nothing eventful happened. Do you think we have to press them in the right order? Probably. Nothing's easy. How are we meant to guess? It could be anything. There should be a clue around in the room. That's how dreams usually work, hopefully. Kane nodded in response. His eyes caught on the small box. Or we could try to smash it. And if it has something breakable in it? Right, well, I'm sure we have half a brain between us. We can work it out. See for yourself. Noah stared hard at the numbers that graced the guard schedule, his eyes almost boring holes in the sheet of old parchment. This must be connected. 15233746. Oh! I think... Can I look at this real quick? What if that's not a 3? Is it an 8? I think it's 8. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Ah! Wait, are you okay? I'm fine. It just shocked me a little. Wait. Let me take over. It's fine, I've got this. No? But there is 8 numbers. Okay. Or is it... Okay, so 71482617. Okay, so... Bottom up, that. Okay, I think I got it. No? Did I mess it up again? Because if it's based on the schedule, right? And then based how it's oriented on there, what did I miss? 7, 1, 4, 8, 2. Huh? Oh. Got it. There we go. Okay, so there, it was really, okay, alright. So it's not an order from based on the puzzle, but based on like how the numbers showed up in there, and what's that? How tricky is that? The box in Noah's hand didn't ding right before the box opened, revealing what was inside. A key? A key? This is too easy though. Way too easy. What do you mean? Noah stared at it, untrusting. Seriously, sometimes things can just be easy. Come on, this is something to celebrate about. I guess so. Fine, let's try it out. A sigh escaped Noah's lips as he rubbed the back of his neck, eyes darting away from the cane. Something wrong? No, nothing's wrong, it's just... Doesn't matter? Don't leave me hanging like that. Thanks for being here, I guess. With a surprise crossed Kane's face as Noah's honest words. I love honesty and friendship, you know? Well, it's not like I had much choice, but I'd come with you any time. I'd just rather never come back here, to be honest. Yeah, me too. I think it's probably the most you've spoken to me in years, you know? Sorry. Alright, this key. The key slipped in with a soft click right before opening. Of course it opens the drawer. Maybe there'll be another key inside? Only one way to find out. Making a hollow sound, the drawer opened. Inside was bare except for... gloves? Really? What is it? Well... Kane scratched at his face awkwardly, his gaze facing away. Noah followed his line of sight until it landed on something he wanted to ignore. Fantastic. Wait, what's that? Looking down, Noah noticed something else. Something scratched into the wood. Let's take a closer look at that. Well, first things first is this. I can't believe I'm doing this. The offer still stands if you want me to give it a go instead. No. I can at least do this much for myself. Nothing wrong with depending on me. With a slight frown, Noah discarded any response he had for Kane, dipped his hand into the bucket. So? Slowly, as if he was scared to find out exactly what he just grabbed at hold of, he pulled the object into sight. A bottle. The glass was darkened and dirty, hiding whatever it was inside of it. Kane leant in close as the cork was removed, and flipped the bottle over, letting the contents fall onto the ground with a clack. Facing upwards from the ground was a tiny hexagon with a crescent moon design. Not what I was expecting, honestly. It better have been worth sticking my hand in that filth for. That bucket was only used for a ceiling leak. It's just been sitting there for a while. Looks like you got all worked up for nothing, eh? So I was looking for this game because I wanted to play, looking for like visual novels that were BL based, basically. I'm not gonna save you now. Oh, right, I don't want its gloves. What do you think this is supposed to mean? Well, that's a good question. Well, whatever, we can work it out right now. Or not, I think this is probably important. Helpful. Puzzle piece locked into place alongside the others waiting to be turned. Well, that's that fixed. Okay, so left, left, right, right, left, right, 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 right. Right, right, left, right, right. And then right, right, right. Ah! The 4 buttons locked into place with a click. Kane and Noah leant over, waiting for something to happen. Not really satisfying as that other puzzle, is it? Maybe if it made a noise. What does it matter? Let's just see what's inside this thing. A candle? Interesting. Noah! Noah froze in place. That voice, the same voice, never changed. Noah, you don't have to talk to him if you don't want to. I don't have much choice if I want to get out of here. What is it? I didn't mean to. All this time, I just wanted to see you again. Well, here I am. Well, here I am. This means nothing because this isn't really you. You're acting sorry for yourself, that's all. Do you think you're the victim here? Do you think I have to forgive you just because you want me to? No, I'd rather you sit there and feel sorry for yourself. Don't bother talking to me unless you're going to help us leave. The man changed the wall, shuffled in place. Metal scraped against stone, a sound so jarring and discomforting that Kane couldn't help but shift from foot to foot. As Noah turned towards the sound, a scene came into mind. Outside the sun high in the sky, someone stood at the front of a classroom, writing something on a whiteboard. He put his pen against the desk. At the teacher's voice became background noise. He glanced to the side. The boy with blonde hair and round glasses glanced back at him and then smiled. The scene fell away into nothingness, and in this place was his childhood teacher, huddled on the floor completely alone. Noah turned away from the shell of a man and to the bedside table. On it, bolted down, was a small lantern. He quickly dipped his candle into it, lighting the wick immediately. The flame flickered from side to side. Noah's breath caught in his throat. Freedom. This is it. What is what? What are you doing? This is our only choice. Look. Noah pointed towards his key, which hung from a thin rope that fell to the stone ground. Around it, some kind of dark liquid. You're going to bet everything on throwing a candle towards a rope. Don't you think that looks like oil? If it catches fire and the key drops to the ground, we should be able to reach it. Right, alright. I trust you. Let's do this. Noah swallowed hard. Calming his shaking hand, he held tight to the lit candle, sizing up just how far he had to throw it. And there. Gently as to not put it out before it even reached the rope, Noah tossed it toward the key. In an instant, the puddle of oil went up in flames, and the rope quickly followed suit. Moments later, the key fell to the stone floor with a clang, almost bouncing towards Noah. He reached between the bars as far as he could, to the point where his shoulder ached from being pressured into the hard metal. And finally, it was in his grasp. A key made of a dark, rusted metal sat against his palm. He clutched it to his chest. Yes. You got it? As he stood from the ground, Cain wrapped an arm over Noah's shoulder, pulling him close and almost ruffling his hair. I never doubted you for a second. Bullshit. Hey, get off of me. Something about the scene playing out, dimly lit, dirty prison inside his dream, made Noah feel nostalgic. And nothing had ever changed, like he was a school kid with all the hope of the future ahead of him. His smile fell from his face as the weight of the future of his present suddenly weighed on him. This feeling, this nostalgia, how could he feel it? How could he dare to feel it? To feel happiness? He pulled away from Cain and brushed his clothes off. Come on, unlock his chains. Cain, who was smiling alongside Noah, also paused in excitement. He scratched the back of his head, as embarrassed for a sudden outburst. Right. That's why we're here anyway. Time to go, Mr. Floyd. Can I really leave? Noah knelt down and quickly unlocked the chains that held the man down. His wrists were bloody and bruised. Yes, it's time to leave. For reasons unknown to even himself, Noah reached out to help his old teacher up from the ground. Mr. Floyd's face was filled with emotion, none of which seemed to win over the others. It opened and closed, and then opened and closed again. Once again. He had something to say. He had many things to say, but nothing escaped his lips. Noah turned his back to the man, and walked back towards the locked door. The key slid effortlessly into the lock, and the door opened. At the same time, the world began to fall apart around them. The walls fell, the floors cracked, and the cell shook as if it wanted to tear itself apart from reality. Mr. Floyd looked at it as if he was reaching out to Noah. His mouth opened, but no words came out as he disappeared too. Noah grabbed Cain's hand. Run! We gotta go. What's happening? The dream's falling apart. We don't have long. We can get outside. Hand in hand, the two ran through the twisting corridors, searching for the light that would be their savior as the world rumbled around them. Booms echoed throughout the building, so loud they could feel it in their very cores. Cain's hand and Noah's felt sweaty. Noah was sure his felt the same. His legs burnt, his muscles screamed out in pain, begging for relief. When had been the last time he'd run like this? Probably after... There, the door. They sprung out of the door, into the world outside, just in time to watch the entire castle fall down into a heap, and get sucked out of existence. The world outside looked much the same as when they first arrived, but soon it wouldn't. Soon it too would collapse and disappear. A fleeting dream that could never truly exist. Shit. Let's go. How do we get out of here? If we go back to where we came in, there should be a way. They turned to leave, but someone stood in their way. A man with blonde hair and deep green eyes. Two men froze. Their mouths hung open with surprise, and their eyes were so wide, it wouldn't have been a surprise to either of them if they simply burst out of their heads. The man smiled softly, a sweet smile that reminded one of a sunflower in full bloom. A sweet smile that could only belong to one person. August? He looked at Noah with sadness in his eyes. Noah! Noah had a million questions running through his mind. I could have asked you those million questions. I could have felt you again. And if we could only chat for a little while, that would have been enough. Okay, it was just 500 words. That's good. I'm glad it's done. Is it you? He looked just like you. His smile reminded me so much of yours. Crow in August. Please. A knock sounded from the front door, and for some reason Noah stood from his painting and opened it, something in the past he would have simply ignored. Perhaps his mind was too occupied for him to consider what he was doing. Perhaps when he opened that door, somewhere deep inside of him hoped to see a certain someone with a smile like spring in eyes, as deep as a forest. Oh, why don't you think he did? Why do you think it didn't go so well? Now the person on the other side of his door was a man he'd never seen before. Now, Forrest, why do you have so much to do this weekend? That man with white hair pushed past Noah into his house. Noah stood still in shock, his eyes following the man in disbelief. Oh, it's that chromatic guy. Lovely. He picked over a few canvases from a forgotten couch in the corner of the room and sat down, making himself at home. Only a moment later, he picked up the remote and turned on the TV, kicking his legs up onto an abandoned painting. What the fuck? What the hell are you doing? Get out. I'm going to call the police. Your phone service got cut off. Sorry. Your phone service was cut off. His voice was flat and matter of fact. And how the hell would you know that? Oh, well, what was the theme of it? Because unless I probably mentioned it maybe, and I just wasn't fully paying attention. I mean, you can also just tell me now. I saw disconnection notice in your trash. Noah shut the door and approached the man filled with apprehension. Who the hell just comes into someone's house, sits on their couch and turns the TV on? What's going on? Alright, jackass. Who are you? Ivan. I've been looking for your car's extended warranty. Okay, kidding. Anyways, Noah finally got a good look at this Ivan. His hair was bleached completely white, and his eyes were different colors. His clothes were strange, as if he belonged on a catwalk instead of surrounded by all this mess. Still, he had no trouble making himself at home. He leant back into the couch, completely uninterested in Noah. Oh, right. Giant book. I mean, I'm sure you did better than you thought you did. You read the whole book, right? And then you took the time to write the paper. Hopefully. His eyes rested on the TV, his fresh and bored. What's going on? Finally, Noah noticed it. Markings that ran up his arm and neck. Markings he'd seen before more than once on that very same TV. What do you want from me? I'm staying here tonight. I don't have anywhere else to go. Answer the damn question. Fair enough. I mean, it's practice for next time, you know? Or, if you want practice about how you articulate your own words, journal. So then you can, like, practice getting your thoughts on paper. You got a problem? I said I'm staying here tonight. But, why? 'Cause I've taken an interest in you. Anyway, I'm tired. Where's the bedroom? Without thinking, Noah pointed towards the door. Thanks. You can take the couch. Ivan stood from his place, tried on his clothes, then went into the bedroom. So, Sermius, this one it's a BL, but it is a murder mystery type of BL. You got this. I mean, it's a report. How long does it have to be for a report? And then this mock interview. I mean, you got this, right? I believe. Noah stood still in shock, wondering what just happened. Shaking his head, he picked up his brush again to paint. Deal with him later. I can't lose this inspiration. Tap, tap, tap. The end of his pencil slowly tapped against his desk as his eyes concentrated on the blonde boy's profile. 1 week ago, August had moved into their class. The initial buzz around him had become subdued, and he had fit in with the others easily. He was naturally charming, kind, smart. In short, he could have become friends with anyone. And all week, they walked home from school together. They'd eaten lunch together during their breaks. Something about Noah's mind was fixated on him. His voice, his smile, the way he was so intensely and absolutely in everything. So interested in absolutely everything, no matter who was talking. The way he thought Noah was so amazing, the way he would hang on to each and every of his words and treat them like the greatest treasures. Noah was completely enamored, whether he realized it or not. Noah, is there something you need? Alright, Sir Miss, enjoy your breakfast. I actually don't know how long I'll be going for the rest of this. I plan to be done with stream whenever this chapter's done. Because I've been going for a good few hours with this whole, section. But hopefully we'll make it back in time. No. Mr. Floyd, I'm sorry. He put the pencil down, embarrassed about being called out in front of everyone yet again. Before August had arrived, he tried his best to blend into the background, to be ignored wherever possible. It didn't seem to be working. The class laughed at him, everyone except for August and Kane. He buried his head in his workbook, his cheeks a deep red, anything to escape their laughs. But he knew well enough he would laugh too, if it were someone else. That's all for this week, class. No homework since I'm feeling particularly kind right now. Make sure you do some self-study if you find yourself with extra time. The bell rang, and everyone began clearing out of the room. Kane sauntered over to Noah's desk, a lopsided smile on his face. Nice tapping. Shut up. I was just thinking. About? Class, of course. Right. Hamlet is so interesting after all. Not rolled his eyes, but he still laughed in return. Anyway, want to stop by the arcade on the way home? Apparently they have some new machines. I wish. My parents got me a new tutor, so I got to go straight home. Boo. That sucks. Well, enjoy. I'll go have fun without you. Asshole. Like a spring shower of flowers, August walked up to stand beside Kane. That same gentle, kind smile on his face. Could we stop by a store on the way home? I wanted to buy some new film. Noah's too busy for us, tutoring apparently. Oh, I have enough time for that. Wait. Oh, I have enough time for that. What? That won't take too much time. That won't take that much time. We can go to the arcade another day. Right. I'll come too then. Thought you were going to play games. Oh, if you're busy, I can go by myself. No, I'm not really that busy, so I can come. Noah stood from his desk and picked up his backpack. For some reason, Kane looked disappointed, instead of noticing that, though Noah couldn't keep his eyes away from August. The two of them left the classroom behind. Walking down the stairwell, August suddenly paused. August. Oh, I think I left my camera on my desk. You two can go ahead. I don't want to keep you waiting when you have tutoring. We can walk together another time. August waved at Noah and Kane before disappearing back up the staircase. Kane turned to leave, only stopping when he noticed Noah wasn't moving. Come on. He said to leave without him. You go on ahead. I'll wait. I'll just wait too. It's fine. You wanted to go to the arcade anyway. A look that Noah didn't quite understand passed over Kane's handsome features before he shrugged. He turned and started going down the stairs before he looked back up at Noah. Yeah. I wanted to go with you. See you tomorrow then. He disappeared from the stairwell, leaving Noah alone, waiting. He tapped his foot nervously and cleared his throat. His palms felt sweaty, and for some reason, he suddenly wished Kane had stayed after all. What am I even meant to say to him one-on-one? Kane's always been there. Oh! A few steps higher than him, August paused in surprise. In his hands, both a small pink camera and his glasses. A light dusting of red stood out against his pale skin. Now desperately searched for something. Anything to say, but didn't blink. August finished polishing his glasses before placing them back on his face, as if to confirm what he was seeing was actually happening. You should have gone ahead. You didn't have to wait for me. It's no big deal. I wanted to go together anyway. August's surprise turned into a smile. You know, because we haven't had that much of a chance to get to know each other. I like that. Why don't we go now, then, before I make you any more late? August brushed past Noah, leading the way. A faint floral-like smell followed him. Two left the school side by side. A breeze so light that it was barely noticeable blew through the quiet street, gently ruffling August's hair. It wasn't something Noah tried to notice, it was more like he couldn't help but notice. At first, they walked in silence. It wasn't awkward, but Noah still racked his mind trying to come up with anything to say. Anything that would make him sound cool or funny, or like someone August would want to be friends with. So, do you like school? Why that? I sound so lame. Yeah, I do. Everyone's been really nice to me. I like Mr. Floyd too, he's fun. Yeah. You said you move around a lot, right? My dad's job involves a lot of travel, so I've never stayed anywhere longer than a year. I'm not even sure how long we'll stay here, to be honest. Your mom must hate that. I'm sure she would, but she actually died a long time ago. What have I done? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean... Don't worry. There's no way you could have known. It's okay. What was she like? My dad said she was a lot like me, but I don't know. She died during childbirth. I'm just making things worse. Why, Noah? Why? Sorry. I think I must be a little heavy, didn't I? I haven't told anyone else before. No, it's okay. I don't mind what we were talking about. I just like talking to you. Well, I like talking to you too. And some beat down on their faces, warming them to their cores. Every step felt as if it echoed throughout Noah's body. How about this? Can you guess why my name is August? Well, were you born in August? He smiled wide, brighter than the sun. I'm August. Born in August. That's cute. I don't know anything about cute. Maybe my parents just picked the first thing they thought of? Noah shook his head. It suits you. You feel like an August, born in August. Thanks, Noah. Oh, this is the store I wanted to go into. Do you want to come inside or wait here? Noah looked up at the store. The window was filled with cameras of all shapes and sizes. I'll wait here. Okay, I'll be quick. It's okay, take your time. As soon as August disappeared into the store, Noah leant against the wall, banging his head on it a few times. Why'd I have to say all of that? What if he hates me now? It feels like someone's holding my tongue whenever I talk to him. What's wrong with me? It's never like this with Kane, or with anyone else in class. It's just him. Him. With a sigh, Noah looked down at his phone. He already had 3 missed calls from his mother. But as his eyes went from his phone screen to August, who he could just see from the window front of the camera store, the choice was obvious. He buried his phone back into his pocket just as August came gliding out of the store. Noah stood up straight instantly and cleared his throat. What'd you buy? I needed some film for some new film for my camera, see? August pulled the film out of the bag. Noah had never been one to be interested in photography, but right now, it seemed like the most interesting thing in the world. Right. You said you like taking pictures, remember? I remember. I love it. I don't have a fancy camera or anything, just an instant one, but it lets me keep memories of all the places I've been. It makes me happy. I won't forget anything if I have them. Once again, side by side, Noah and August continued down the street. Should we take the shortcut? From this point in town? The shortcut isn't actually any shorter, but he likes going that way, doesn't he? Yeah, we should be able to get through from here. Noah climbed up the short brick wall that stood in the way before turning around and holding his hand out for August. He didn't even hesitate for a moment, taking that hand. Noah easily pulled him up to stand beside him. And only for a moment did Noah's hand linger, but a moment was all it took. The river, not so far in the distance, gently trickled by in the mid-afternoon sun as the two boys together walked up the mountain path. It was a calming sound, yet Noah felt anything but calm. His hand felt hot, where the two had touched, and his heartbeat echoed in his ears. Noah? Huh? What's gotten you so frightened? Oh, sorry, I was a little stuck in my own head. What was it? I just wanted to thank you for coming with me. I know you were busy, but you really didn't have to. To be honest, I really wanted you to come, so I owe you one. You don't owe me. Actually. Then let me see your photos sometime. My photos? They're not anything special. Please. Then show me more of your drawings too. But I think that's a pretty fair trade. Okay. Alright. I guess. Up ahead, they could already see the backs of their houses. They climbed the final few steps quickly. Thanks again, Noah. I had fun. I'll see you tomorrow. It's fine, really. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Noah's voice was small and meek. His mind screamed out at him to stop being so timid and to just ask what he wanted to ask. But somehow he still struggled in a way he never had before. Wait. I was just wondering if I could, can I have your number? Fuck. Of course you can. I was actually going to ask for yours too, but I forgot. They pulled out their phones, Noah ignoring the growing amount of missed calls and exchanged numbers. Noah stared at the numbers on his screen as if he didn't believe they were real. See you tomorrow, Noah. Every step back to his house felt as if he were walking on clouds. He clutched his phone to his chest, his heart beating much faster than it should have been. There's something wrong with me, isn't there? Noah, where have you been? Fuck. I had to go to the store to buy a new workbook. I filled my last one already. Mother clutched her necklace so tight. Her knuckles had gone white. Then you should have told me. You knew your new tutor was coming over today. So sorry, Mom. The man stood up from the couch, a man Noah recognized instantly. Mr. Floyd? Hey, Noah. Sorry, this is probably a surprise. I thought you knew. He rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly, his eyes shifting over to look at Noah's mother. No, of course I didn't know. Why didn't anyone tell me? Why didn't anyone tell me? Dear, don't embarrass me in front of our guests. Go back to your room and start studying, okay? Let's just spend the evening working out exactly what I'm going to help you with. Does that sound good? Sure. I'll bring you in some snacks later. No, please make sure to concentrate and not waste any of Mr. Floyd's time. Do you understand? Sure. Noah held the door open long enough for his teacher to enter the room before he slammed it shut. His mother would probably scold him about it later, but at that present moment, he didn't care. With a sigh, Noah sat down on the ground on one side of his table, while Mr. Floyd took the other. For a few moments, it was quiet before Mr. Floyd opened his mouth again. Sorry, Noah. I really did think she told you. Anyway, this can be casual. I'm not your teacher here. You kinda are. Okay, I kind of am, but it's still different. Noah couldn't help but crack a smile at his flailing. A laugh escaped his lips, and he leant back, finally relaxing. Fine. Do I get to call you by your first name? Whoa, let's not be hasty here. Mr. Floyd pulled out a notebook and pencil. I would usually ask what you're struggling with, but we both know you don't struggle with anything, and I'm honestly unsure about why you need a tutor. My mom might explode if I don't have one. Ah, so it's like that. So then why don't I teach you some of the more advanced subjects that'll come in useful for university? Noah glanced towards his art books. That sounds good. Any specific topics that interest you then? Or would you rather I decide? Noah shrugged. Alrighty, we can start with math and science first of all, and by tomorrow I'll work out a proper study plan. Cool? Cool. Or we could just watch a movie or play some games instead. Sure, if you want me to be fired. Better not then, or I'll end up with an annoying tutor like last time. Annoying? Got the answers to his own questions wrong. Didn't appreciate me correcting him, then went crying to my mom and quit. I'm almost impressed. How about we make this fun? If you manage to catch me making a mistake like that, I'll let you play games instead of studying that session. You're on. Tried his best efforts, the rest of the evening passed by without Noah being able to one-up his teacher in any way. Noah had always been smart enough, but Mr. Floyd knew exactly what he was teaching, as if it were second nature to him. A gentle breeze came from his ever so slightly open window, as he finally finished the last question given to him. Good work today. Seriously, Noah. You're going to go to places. You're a smart kid. Jeez. You ever make any mistakes? I've made plenty of mistakes. I'm sure I'll make plenty more too. Good luck catching me making one though. Mr. Floyd winked, closing up his textbook at the same time. But you're so smart. How did you end up being a teacher? What, being a teacher isn't good enough? Or I didn't mean it like that. Just kidding, I'm kidding. Someone special to me told me I'd be good at it. I didn't really have anything I wanted to do when I was your age, so I just went with what they told me to do. And as it turned out, I loved it. Girlfriend? Something like that. Anyway, it's getting late, and we'll resume this tomorrow. Sound good? I don't know about good, but... Mr. Floyd laughed out loud. I didn't realize you were such a troublesome kid. He stood and picked up his bags, before smiling down at Noah. I'll walk you to the door. Done already? It's 9 p.m. You should be exceptionally proud of your son. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Hey. And I am, Mr. Floyd. He's my pride and joy. I'll see you tomorrow. Noah, good job today. With a casual wave. You left the house? I'm gonna go to sleep. Good night. Good night. Oh, no, your brother's going to be back from his school trip soon. Right. The room was already dark. For some reason, this was the time of day Noah liked the most. Time of day where no one else would bother him, or question him, or yell at him. He could be alone with his thoughts. Thoughts that were, today, particularly disordered. Usually he'd use this chance to draw, but for some reason, he couldn't bring himself to concentrate. Couldn't bring himself to put his pencil to paper. An odd occurrence for him. At any other time, this would be how he got his feelings out. How he made himself feel just a little bit better. But tonight, his mind was muddled, a mess that he couldn't decipher. He locked his phone and stared at his contact list. August's name stood out from all the rest. His finger hovered over the message button, but he couldn't bring himself to press it. With a sigh, his hand dropped back down to the bed. Outside of his window, the rain fell noisily to the land below. He closed his eyes, listening to that sound before picking his phone up again. First, he searched for one phrase. Why am I nervous around someone? It was inconclusive. More specific, why do I feel both sick and excited when I see him? Particular words stood out to him on that search page, a word that made him blink a few times, both with surprise and validation. He searched for one final phrase before he fell asleep. What does a crush feel like? Kinda knew that was coming. I'll be handing back your mock exams now. I'm very proud of how much you've all grown, academically and otherwise. And you should be proud of yourselves too. Mr. Floyd walked between the desks, setting the marked exam papers face down. For some reason, Noah felt nervous. He didn't usually feel nervous about anything like this. He'd always done well after all. But something about impressing both his new tutor and teacher made the butterflies in his stomach start stirring. Mr. Floyd's footsteps echoed through the hushed classroom. Noah looked at the faces of those who had already received their grades. Some looked happy, some disappointed. I wonder what my face will look like to them. Mr. Floyd's footsteps stopped in front of Noah's desk. When he looked up to meet his teacher's eyes, he winked and placed the test down before resuming his walk around this classroom. Taking a deep breath, Noah flipped the page over. 98? I got 98? That's way higher than usual. That should be everyone. Give yourselves a pat on the back and make sure to relax over the weekend. You've all deserved it. The bell rang just as he finished teaching. Kane quickly bounded over to Noah, a wide smile on his face. Go on. How did you do? No way. You should be first. Fine with me. Take a look at this. With a grin that said, try to beat this, Kane slammed his mock exam down on Noah's desk. In red pen, a 94 was circled. Wow, amazing. It's okay, you don't have to be jealous. Oh, I'm not. With a similar grin, Noah pushed his test towards Kane. What? Mr. Floyd must have made a mistake. Mr. Floyd, come back. Kane mockingly pretended to chase after their teacher, who just laughed and waved him off, busy packing up his things. Give that back. How the hell did you get a 98? 98? No, that's amazing! In the middle of the ruckus, August had approached quietly, look of amazement on his face, and his rival Kane had tensed up a little. Oh, thanks. You probably cheated. Did not. I just have a new tutor. Oh, I remember you mentioning that. He's really good. Yeah, he is. I can't believe this. My winning streak ruined. Shut up already. You only beat me because I didn't care. Sob. Don't say sob out loud. It sounds so stupid. Kane and Noah laughed. We should celebrate somehow. You don't have to do that. It's not even a big deal. I want to. 98 is really amazing. You should be really proud. How did you do? Well, I got a 75. Not as good as the two of you. That's still really amazing too. You know, you're really amazing. How about you two stay over at my place this weekend? I've got some new games. August blinked a few times, obviously surprised. Me? Well, yeah. It was your idea to celebrate. I just thought you... Yeah, I think that would be really fun. Alright, let's do it. Actually, out of character, August stuttered a little, as if he was a little nervous about what he was about to ask before he brushed it off and regained his usual confidence. Why don't you two come over to my place? Whoops. My husband asking me to introduce my friends to them. August's house? August's bedroom? That's fine with me, Noah. Oh, wait, that's fine with me. Noah? Staying overnight at August's house in August's bedroom? Or if to Noah, hey, stop zoning out. It's okay if you don't want to. No, I do. I really do. Anyway, I gotta go home now. My tutor is coming over again. One of these days you'll have the time to hang out again. Yeah, whatever. Let's walk home together. I don't have anything else to do today. As the three of them walked towards the door, Mr. Floyd called out. Good job, Noah. I'll see you later. In response, Noah smiled and waved. See you later. What was that about? What about? See you later. Oh, Mr. Floyd's my tutor. Things are starting to make sense. What's that supposed to mean? Kane shrugged. Just saying that your high mark is beginning to make sense since the two of you are friends. Oh, shut up. I earned that. You're just jealous. He's way better than my last tutor anyway. I don't think I've ever had a tutor. That only happened in movie stuff. Count yourself lucky then. I've been stuck with mine since I was 7. Wow. I've gone through a few. If you ever need any help, I could tutor you if you wanted. You tutoring? I think the 98 is going to your head. Shut up. Thanks, Noah. I think I'll take you up on that. There were a few things I didn't understand on the test. No problem. Unrelated, but I heard your brother's going to be back soon. God, don't remind me. Like, don't remind me I have a brother. Siblings? Never. You have a brother? Yeah. He's a little older than me. Sounds like you don't get along very well. He's the golden child, and I'm the failure after all. Failure? Don't be silly. You always get good remarks. Your teacher likes you. You're so good at art, too. He got 100 on every test through high school. He's the captain of 2 different sports teams. President of the school council. How did you hear that anyway? Wait. Your mom was chatting with my mom the other day. I heard it from her. Of course, she's just gotta brag that her favorite child is coming home. Let me stay at your place for a couple weeks just until he's gone. And just your mom likes me, I think she'd kill us both if we tried that. Mom likes you more than she likes me. I'm sure you could ask her for anything and she'd say yes. You could always stay at my place. Wait, really? Hey, I wouldn't want to bother you. You'd never be a bother, and you're always welcome at my house. Thanks. Thanks. Before long, they'd already reached home. That was a disappointment. I want to spend some more time with him. If only I didn't have tutoring tonight. Even though we've been in the same class for a little while now, I feel like we've barely gotten to hang out. With that thought in his mind, he braced himself for what was awaiting him. He could hear their voices before he even stepped through the door. They didn't keep their words to hushed tones, instead deciding that even if anyone did overhear them, they didn't care. I think this new tutor is good for him. If he can convince him to finally give up that girly hobby, then I don't care who it is. Maybe his brother will be able to talk some sense to him too. I'm home. He purposely cut the conversation, ignoring their words, even as they dug deep into them. What's so wrong with drawing? I have something to show you. Here. Noah fished a test paper from his bag and handed it over to his mother. Guessed surprise. Noah, did you take someone else's test? What? No. Did you cheat? No. This is really yours? Yeah. Not bad. Nearly as good as Asher. Right, my bad. I'll try harder next time. Don't worry, dear. I'll get it next time. With an inaudible sigh, Noah felt his spirits deflate. He took back the paper and buried it in his backpack. I'm going to go wait for my tutor in the room. Good boy. I'll bring you in some snacks later. Instead of setting up for his tutor, Noah found himself pulling his old sketchbooks from his shelf. His eyes danced over the pages, looking at everything he'd poured his heart into for the past few years. I guess I just suck. Why am I never good enough? At least August thinks it's cool. What must have been the 100th time, Noah stared down at August's contact in his phone, decided against texting him. It's not like I have anything to say to him. I'm here! Noah, you should be proud of yourself after the last test. You've always been good. No great, but you've grown even further. Thanks to you. Mr. Floyd shut the door behind him and shook his head. No, it's because you've put the effort in. He set his textbooks down on the table before glancing towards the sketchbooks in Noah's hand. Oh yeah, he's a little buff. I mean, he's older. He's a teacher, I guess. What's this? Oh, they're nothing. This your art? I guess so. Noah braced himself, waited for the same words that came from each of his tutors, like robots with strict scripts. The scripts that, by extension, came from his parents every single time. You should give up. It's a waste of time. You should study instead. You have so many talents. I had no idea you could draw. You're not going to tell me to stop? Of course not. He laughed and sat down. But like you, I struggle with even a stick figure, so I won't be of any use in that regard. Should we get started on what I can help you with? Noah felt a lightness in his heart that he didn't know could exist. He's on my side? Mr. Floyd opened up one of his math textbooks, waiting for Noah to join him. He sat on the other side of the table and pulled out his workbook. Equations and calculations sat against the page like a foreign language. I think we can move on to a newer subject. You've already proven to have a mastery over what I've taught so far. Noah nodded, but his eyes went back down to his phone. I thought he would have sent me a message by now. Maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he wants me to send one first? Or he just doesn't have anything to say, since we're not even that close and we see each other every day at school. Or maybe... Noah! Maybe he didn't actually want to give me his number and I put him on the spot. Is it too weird to message each other? Hello, Earth to Noah. Mr. Floyd waved his hand in front of Noah, snapping him out of wherever his mind had gone. Oh. Sorry, I'm listening. Of course you're not. His tutor closed the textbook, looking earnestly at him. What's on your mind? I'm sorry, Mr. Floyd. Concentrate now. Noah reached across the table, trying to open the textbook back to the page on whatever his teacher was currently trying to talk about. But unfortunately, Mr. Floyd was faster than him. He gently placed his hands on the book, stopping it from being opened before shaking his head. Some things are more important than schoolwork. A lot of things, really. Don't tell anyone I said that to you. No one will ever do their homework again. Is it really okay? I feel like I'm weird, won't he? But I feel like I can trust him. Actually, something has been on my mind. I don't want you to laugh at me, though. Go ahead, I won't laugh. What does liking someone feel like? Liking someone? Like, you know, liking someone. Like, love. Or something. Mr. Floyd did in fact laugh for a second before he noticed the serious expression on Noah's face. Okay, you're serious. You're a healthy teenage boy. I thought you would have known this already. Let's see. I wasn't exactly prepared for this. Cleared his throat awkwardly. So, you mean like physically? Yeah, how would you know? Let me think back to being a teenager. I guess I used to feel awkward around my crush butterflies when I talk with them, like staring at them. Sounds kind of creepy looking back at it. Is it someone in class? You don't have to tell me. Noah nodded wordlessly. Sophia? Or maybe Aria? Is it wrong to like someone that's like me? Someone like you? It's August. A silence followed his sudden outburst. He blinked surprised at Noah's answer. Of course it's not wrong. Really? Yeah, you have nothing to be worried about. A warm feeling spread within Noah's chest. Validation. It's okay. I'm okay. I'm normal. This has been really bothering you, huh? Well, don't worry. I won't tell anyone. Mr. Floyd reopened his textbook naturally, segueing back into the lesson. Now, where were we? Noah picked up his pencil and listened carefully. His mind suddenly as clear as just outside the window, which had begun to dim to a gentle orange. Right. Right. Advanced calculus, everyone's favorite. I'll pick it up in no time. How do you remember so much? Would you believe me if I said I just love math so much that it's all I do in my free time? Ew. Even teachers aren't that sad, except maybe Miss... Wait, I shouldn't say that. I really shouldn't say that. Come on now. Come on. Now I'm curious. My lips are sealed. Fine. Then how do you remember it all? Truth is, I don't remember everything. I think that's the same no matter what you study. You learn things, you forget things, you relearn things. That sounds so lame. Who wants to relearn something you're not interested in over and over again just to teach someone else? Me, I suppose. There's something satisfying about being able to pass on knowledge. Maybe you'll understand one day. I would be an awful teacher. An art teacher, then? No, I'm nowhere near good enough. I beg to differ, but whether you want to do that or not, I can see you going far with your art. Keep it up, okay? Mr. Floyd chatted happily, circling a formula in Noah's workbook at the same time. He can do advanced calculus and small talk at the same time. He's really something else. Do you have someone you like? What? Where'd that come from? I was just wondering. You said that someone special told you to be a teacher, right? So you do pay attention in class. Wait, so you do pay attention in class. I thought you were too busy tapping your pencil against the desk. Hey. I did. You did? That person isn't around anymore. I haven't really been interested in dating since then. Oh, I'm sorry. What? Oh, They aren't dead, just got married. I went to the wedding and it was beautiful. Still just a little heartbroken, I guess. Did you try that thing they do in movies? Objecting? I'd die before actually doing that. Really, this is another lesson for you. Take risky shots before you don't have the chance anymore. Was her dress pretty at least? He looked happier than ever. Alright, her dress was pretty too. At some point, the sun had fallen deep over the horizon, leaving the moonlight to shine in from the large window at the back of the room. Ah, your favorite word, poor Steele. Mr. Floyd shut his textbook with a sad sigh, staring out the window as if he was waiting for someone to miraculously appear. When no one did, he turned back to Noah. I think that's enough for today, though I think we chatted more than studied. Tell on me, alright? I need the extra money. I knew you weren't here out of the goodness of your own heart. Mr. Floyd smirked in response, and Noah found himself laughing alongside the man as they both headed towards the door. I remember you mentioning that. Good work today, Noah. I'll see you tomorrow. I see you two are finally done. Good. What if that's okay with you? Of course, ma'am. Noah, you can go back to your room. Why? The adults need to speak. Go on. Run off. Alright. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Floyd. The door shut quietly behind Noah as he tried to put aside his mother's dismissive attitude. On his table, various books were still laid out from the tutoring session. But his studies weren't what was on his mind. He says it's okay that I like August. Right, I like him. And that's what this is. Noah settled in between the sheets. Closing his eyes outside the door, he could hear the low murmuring of talking, but couldn't make out any specific words. Whatever they were talking about, it didn't matter. At that time, at that moment, nothing else mattered to him but the feeling of finally being accepted. Finally feeling like he found his place. With that in his mind, he closed his eyes. Morning had come around much too quickly. Noah had spent most of the night tossing and turning, thinking about what his teacher had said and his feelings for the boy who lived just next door. He only managed to get to sleep when his eyes snapped open. For some reason, the sunlight that streamed in from outside seemed particularly bright this morning. That was cause for alarm. Noah reached out for his phone and flipped it open. The time on it read 8:25 a.m. What the? My alarm didn't go off. It was going to ring in 5 minutes. 2 minutes later, dressed and ready to leave, he quickly checked himself in the mirror and smoothed out his hair before he practically flew out the door. Mom, why didn't you wake me? Both the kitchen and living room were devoid of any and all life. Usually at least his mother would still be around at this time of day, but it seemed that she was out. With no more time to waste on where they had gone, Noah picked up his backpack from near the front door and stepped into his shoes before shooting out the front door. In a hurry, Noah circled around his house to reach the overgrown yet well-worn track that led down the mountain. If I run, it won't be too late, I hope. Usually he would either wait around for August and Kane, or see them waiting for him already. This time he didn't expect to see either of them. Maybe that's why he stopped in his tracks when a bit of blonde hair shone in the sun did the foliage ahead of him. Wait, August? Oh, I'm not. Oh god, I've already seen him yet. Should I go back the way I came? But he's been waiting for me all this time. Noah! A voice called out from beyond the green leaves. Green eyes that nearly matched peered at him, first in surprise, then in happiness. No, it's you! What are you doing here? I was waiting for you so we could walk to school together. But now you're gonna be late. I don't mind being a little late. What if I was sick or something, or wasn't going today? Well, I was contemplating coming to knock on your door, but I didn't want to rush you. Thanks. Kane didn't wait? Oh, he wanted to come drag you out of bed himself, but he said something about his father telling him not to be late today for some reason. Weird. Shoulder to shoulder, the two started speeding down the mountain, careful not to slip. At that present moment, being late for school was the last thing on Noah's mind. All the senses were consumed by August, his eyes filled with the sight of his face that shone like sunlight falling on a field of flowers, his nose filled with the smell of August's shampoo, which still drifted off his slightly damp hair. His ears much too aware of August's breath, of his footsteps, of the rocks tumbling beneath his feet. Each time their shoulders brushed together, Noah could feel himself wanting to run away as fast as possible. The only thing missing from the five senses was taste. A taste of... God, what am I thinking? Noah felt his face flush. Never in his life had he thought of another person this way. Now suddenly, it was as if it was all he could think about. Did you sleep in? Huh? Noah nearly jumped out of his skin when August spoke up. Oh, I didn't sleep very well. I think I forgot to set my alarm too. I hate when that happens. Usually my mom would wake me up if I were asleep, but she wasn't at home this morning. August pulled out his phone and checked his clock. Doesn't look like we'll be too late, at least. Though we're late already. We should just skip class and hang out instead. I'm kidding. Oh, doesn't sound so bad to me. I think my dad might cry if I skip school, to be honest. Really? Yeah, that's the kind of person he is. But the greenery was slowly giving way to concrete. For some reason, that filled Noah with a sense of sadness. Here, together and alone, they were in a place no one else could reach, no one else could ruin. But out there, the world went on. I wish we could just stay here. Huh? Nothing. It's fine. Come on, we should hurry up. Two boys ran through the streets and into the school gates. A teacher who had been minding the gates simply shook her head as the two walked in. Jeez, now they're gonna think I'm a bad influence on you even more. Being influenced by you doesn't sound so bad. They stopped dead in their tracks as they walked into the classroom, so busy chatting they almost forgot they were late. The room was hushed and all eyes went to the two boys. You, take a seat. Me? Yes, you. Okay. August took his seat alone, leaving Noah standing awkwardly by the door. Sitting at the front desk was someone other than their teacher, the principal. Noah, I take it. Yeah? I'm sorry we're late, it's all my fault. We'll deal with your tardiness later. For now, please come with me. Noah stood his ground. Why? I assumed your parents would have talked to you. When Noah didn't budge, the principal simply sighed and shrugged his shoulders before opening his mouth once again. You'll be moving classroom today. What? Why? Because your parents have requested it. Now come on, let's not make a scene. But... You'll be in class 3-1 from today onwards. Come on, I'll introduce you. Class, Mr. Floyd will arrive shortly. Please use the time for self-study until then. Sir, please, I think there's been a mistake. You're nowhere correct, yes? Your parents requested, well, can't really say requested, demanded that would be more suited, I think. Demanded you be moved at once. Your mother was here this morning in person. Why you weren't told, I don't know. Noah felt himself deflate. Mom did this? Why? Do I really have to move? Unfortunately, I can't do anything about it. Your family is a major financial backer. Whatever he said after that, Noah couldn't bear to listen anymore. It always comes down to money, doesn't it? Have enough money and you can mess with anyone's life over as much as you want? I hate her. I hate him so much. The two stopped in front of a door that was identical to the last classroom, and the two stepped inside. Once again, the class looked towards him as he entered through this time. The faces were much more unfamiliar. A woman with short orange hair and dark eyes smiled towards him. Quickly, she moved to pull him to the side. You must be Noah. Please, you can take a seat. You can call me Miss Rose. I understand you were probably moved here against your wishes, so I won't force you to stand at the front of the class and introduce yourself, okay? Fine. She smiled. Her eyes seemed sympathetic, but Noah looked away from her angrily. Noah sat at the desk he was pointed towards, wordlessly, a frown on his brow. What's going on? Why would they do this to me? This isn't fair. This isn't fair. So done with his part, left the room after nodding to Miss Rose. Noah kept his mouth shut. His workbook closed and his pen lying to the side. Unused, he stared out the window at the mountains in the distance. We should have just stayed there, skipped class and hung out like you said. Everything sucks except for you. Miss Rose's voice droned on in the background while Noah paid her no mind. His eyes wandered from the mountains back to his desk. He opened up his workbook. It was filled with yesterday's notes, neat and tidy. He lifted his pen to the page next to it and harshly scribbled a line down the page, then another and another, leaving muddy black ink over his white canvas. Before Noah knew it, lunch bell was ringing, and he was the only one left in the classroom. Alright, Forsteel, thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a good night and the weekend goes by well. He jumped up from his desk and stormed out of the room, searching for one person in particular. Hey. Noah finally spotted him. Mr. Floyd walked down the stairwell alone, materials for the day held tightly in his arms. When Noah launched down the steps towards him, he dropped his books and papers everywhere. What's going on? Wordlessly bent down to pick up his dropped items, but Noah quickly advanced further towards him. I said, what's going on? Why have I been moved? Your parents requested it. But why? I was wrong. You shouldn't listen to my advice. What do you mean? Mr. Floyd paused, his face conflicted. His words were slow and drawn out, as if he was struggling to say them. My advice about August, you should ignore it. So you're telling me the way I feel is wrong after all. Sorry, Noah. But please don't speak to me again, or both of us will be in trouble. With his papers gathered, he continued down the stairs, leaving Noah alone with his anger. Fuck. He punched the wall, uncharacteristically filled with rage. I just want to be in the same class as August. This isn't fair. Noah. Hey. What's going on? What was all that this morning? Great question. I got escorted to Miss Rose's class in the morning by the principal, and no one will tell me what's going on. They just keep saying that my parents made me move, but why? Kane's frown deepened, his usual teasing face replaced with something much more serious. They can't just do that. Apparently they can. Once again, they just want to ruin my life. I'm sorry. At least they didn't suddenly move me to another school. Shit could be worse, I guess. This still does make this fair. Fine then, I'm going to come sit in Miss Rose's class one day today. If we're allowed to just move around however we want. Don't. You'll just get in trouble. And? What are they going to do? It's not worth it. Try to work it out. You want me to tell August? Not yet. Maybe I can fix this somehow. I'm going home now, so you don't have to wait for me. Have to wait for me after school. Won't that just get you in more trouble? Probably, but I don't really care. Alright, then I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see what I can do too. Kane gave Noah away before going back out into the hallway. Filled with anger, Noah flew down the staircase and out into the street, ignoring the calls from the teachers behind them. What's going on? What are you doing home? Class doesn't finish until this afternoon. Why did you get me moved to a different class? I'm very disappointed in you, Noah, for many reasons. Give me your phone right now. What? Why? Now. Frustrated, he whipped his phone from his bag in time to see the screen light up with a name he'd been waiting for all this time. August. It was too late. She snatched it from his hand as he floundered to get it back. Wait. Let me check that text. She looked down at the screen before sighing and switching the phone off. You're not having this back. From now on, you better only concentrate on school. I don't want any more nonsense from you. What? No more stopping places on the way home, and absolutely no hanging out with this August anymore. I don't understand. Why did you make me move class? Why are you punishing me for no reason? Go to your room. What about my tutoring later? We fired your tutor. I'll find you a new one soon. Tears threatened to overflow as he stomped back to his room and slammed the door shut, the echo traveling through the entire house. That asshole, he told her everything, didn't he? When I went to talk alone, he told her everything I said to him. He told me I was normal, but he told him everything. I should have trusted him. Fuck. Told me I was normal. An asshole. Noah collapsed on his bed, burying his tear-filled face into his mountain of pillows. He didn't even bother kicking his shoes off. It's not fair. Why does everyone want to ruin my life? I just want to be in the same class as him. At some point, his eyes began to feel heavy, and he fell into a sleep that finally stopped his tears. Then the world kept moving around him. Kane, frustrated with his own inability to help, and August, who wondered if messaging Noah was too forward, especially as he was ignored. When Noah opened his eyes again, his room was already dark. His eyes felt puffy and his skin tight. He sat up from his bed and turned the lamp on. In a mirror across the room, he saw his reflection. I looked like crap. Maybe I should try that thing August said. He left the room and returned with his hands full of various products his mother owned. What's this all do anyway? I guess it's not surprising how I can use this stuff. His skin looks really soft and smooth. I bet if I touched it, I bet it would feel really nice. Here's a few random bottles of various sizes. Toner, creamer, cleanser, serum, eye cream. What is all of this? Finally, he found the bottle he was searching for in the sea of all other bottles. Light moisturizer. Maybe this will help. Awkwardly, he rubbed it over his face, waiting for something magical to happen. Well, I guess it feels a little fresher. This stuff is way too overpriced. He sighed, dropping the bottles onto his floor as he fell back onto his bed. Of course, he finally texts me, and she takes my phone, of course. The thing I've been waiting for. Maybe I should go over and talk to him. Otherwise, he'll think I'm ignoring him. Standing, he rested his hand on his doorknob before trying to turn it. Locked. What? I left just a minute ago. Did they seriously lock me in here? I guess leaving in the middle of the night is probably a bad idea anyway. The fresh air would be good. With that thought, he pulled open his window before he froze. In the window across from him, he saw him, August. A pair of headphones sat in his ear, and the sound of his soft humming came from behind his closed window. His bedroom? It's right across from mine? How did I not notice? He drew his shallow breath and held it, as if waiting for something to go wrong, for someone to take this away from him, too, but nothing happened. He searched through his room, looking for something to throw. Pencils, please let me not damage his window or hit him. Bang, bang, bang. He threw them one at a time, not too hard, lest someone in his house noticed, but he hoped hard enough to attract August's attention. For long, he saw August pull his headphones from his ears and look towards the window. His big green eyes were filled with surprise. He rushed towards the window and opened it, and a pencil soared over his head and into his room. Noah quickly slid out of his window and sat atop the windowsill. August copied him, doing the same. Noah! Shh, or someone will notice. He whispered in return, raising his fingers to his lips. August nodded knowingly, as if he understood exactly what was going on. I had no clue my bedroom faced yours. Noah could have sworn he saw a dusting of pink on August's cheeks as he chuckled wildly. I noticed the other day. I thought you knew already. I shut my curtains when I get changed, don't I? I don't know how I didn't notice. Wait, I don't know how I didn't notice. I'm sorry about ignoring your text. I didn't get to read it because my mom took my phone. She feels I can't have it back. What? Why? I can't tell him what I'd said to Mr. Floyd. I confided Mr. Floyd about a personal issue and he gave me some advice, but then he went and told everything to my parents anyway. And everything's ruined. They made me move class. They took my phone and they said I'm not allowed to talk to you anymore. And everything's just a mess, sorry. I should have told you earlier. I'll be okay. Don't worry about the message. Either it's not your fault. I wanted to be in the same class as you. As me? I just like spending time with you. And Caden too, of course. I wish we could be in the same class too. Sorry, I don't want to make you feel even worse. Then I'll just move class as well. What? Are you serious? Well, I'll ask my dad if he can organize it or not. But either way, we can still hang out, right? You don't have to do that. I'm sure you have other friends in class apart from me. August shook his head and gave Noah his signature smile. I want to spend my time with you. But you don't find me annoying? So August could read his mind. He smiled gently towards Noah. He paused. You and Kane showed me what it's like to have real friends. I don't want to lose that. Oh, right, Kane. Noah scratched the back of his head, awkwardly annoyed at himself for jumping to conclusions. I'll tell him about the plan too. Yeah, probably a good idea. All of a sudden, August went quiet, and he peered through the darkness towards Noah. Noah became as still as a statue, freezing up completely under his scrutinous eye. What? Did you use moisturizer? I just thought I'd try it since you said it was good. Noah glanced away, filled with embarrassment, just in time to see a flash. In August's hand, a pink camera, he smiled from behind it as it printed out a picture of Noah. Did you just... I used the film we bought at the store together, see? What the? You should just throw that away. You don't need a picture of me. No chance. I think I wanted to hang it up in my room. If you're going to do that, then we should just take one together. We can't do that, but I want to keep this one too. It's kind of embarrassing. Really? I like it. Whenever I feel lonely, looking at my photos makes me feel happier. You can just come see me instead. From behind him, Noah heard the sound of something being unlocked. With a feeling of dread in his stomach, he jumped back in his window. My mom's here. I gotta go. Good night. Good night. Sleep, Noah. Sleep well. Noah's door swung open just as he managed to retreat back under his covers. His heart was still beating hard. So hard that it was almost painful. Because I nearly got caught? No, because I like August a lot? I like him. You're in bed? I was going to bring you dinner. Bring your dinner. I'm not hungry. Fine. Straight home from school tomorrow, do you understand? Can I stay at a friend's place this weekend? Noah's mother crossed her arms, obviously not impressed by this question. Which friend? She knows if I say Kane now. She knows if I say Kane's now, I'll just be in more trouble. August, Kane is coming too. No, you're not allowed over at his house, and you're grounded anyway. Good night, Noah. She shut the door behind her before Noah could even think of a response. Good night, Mom. Alone as always. On the other side of his window, someone that made him feel together. Chapter 2. Dreams of a past long forgotten. Alright. Well, that was chapter 1. That's way longer than expected. Well, that was oh gosh, my voice is like struggling. Doing 3 hours is like a long moment. But I guess we'll have to save chapter 2, maybe chapter 3 for how long it goes for next time. So, honestly, the story's been really nice so far. A little generic for some parts, and a little bit like, oh, and puzzles have been fun. But yeah, thank you to everybody who came by today. Poor Steel, Sermius, Nampy, Amigot, Kronos, Watermelon, Inari, Puma, and anybody else who came by. I really appreciate the support, and don't be afraid to talk. I don't mind ever chatting with you guys. And if you see this on YouTube, thanks for watching, and if you want to see us live, feel free to come to Twitch. But for now, that is it for tonight. DjDoubleT, out and about, and deuces. Have a good time zone.